Round 6 at Woodville Oval as the Eagles take on South at home. The Eagles with a 2 win, 2 loss ratio. South Adelaide with a 1 win, 3 loss ratio. So the Panthers definitely need a victory today, but one suspects they're not travelling all that well. This is Mills at the back door. They're handballing it around early. Osborne on the left boot. The little rover goes through half forward. Heath was the target. Nudged under that ball by Simpson. Simpson's got the job on the big fellow in Heath at centre half forward. Rogers pokes it back. That was good work in the finish. Finally it came out to McClurg. Feeds it off to Tottenham. The Eagles run this out pretty well from defence. Spear in the finish. Looks for Pesh. Back from the Crows. Would be disappointed, but looking for a big performance today. And joining me in the commentary team, Mark Nayley.
Good morning, David. Well, good afternoon, actually. Beautiful day down here at Woodville Oval. The Eagles kicking with a slight advantage of about a 2 or 3 goal wind. You see the ball thrown in. McIntyre with Neiman. McIntyre gets front position. Can't get a touch. Ryan goes in strong. As the ball formed into a pack.
Ryan, you know a bit about him from country Victoria. Tough nut with the red hair.
Greg Byrne.
Greg Byrne.
How am I going? One of my old teammates.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Both got fiery red hair.
Mark Ryan's the kid up from the reserves last year who won the best and fairest. Look a little like Neiman, who's been rucking superbly this year. His form's been quite terrific. Pesh just forced that ball forward. Now Spear over the top. Now, did that come off the boot? No, said the boundary umpire. It didn't. Let's set the scene. Breeze, Mark, blowing from right of screen to left of screen. Did swing around just moments ago, perhaps 20 minutes or so ago, was blowing the other way. So we think the weekend's going to be fickle today. Dylan, the former South Adelaide player, an important test for him today. Stolen by Johnson. Oh, that's didn't really do a great deal with that. Now the opportunity for Heath. Hands it off to Osborne, running through. This is Phil Saunders. Gets around, and it swings back with the breeze. It's a point. Did the right thing, but that breeze perhaps a little stronger from left to right at that end than he perhaps thought.
Yeah, Phil Saunders has been fairly impressed with this young lad. He's come from down the southeast, and it's his first game.
He's impressed in recent weeks in the reserves. And Ken Sheldon and the South Adelaide hierarchy have high hopes for him. They think they need just a little injection of pace on their forward line, which he'll certainly give. This is Rogers to Wiedemann. There's a bit of experience out there, isn't there? Rogers and Wiedemann and Pesh. Add Neiman, who's getting amongst them in terms of games and pays. And the Eagles really have a few guys with some experience. You look through, Mark, the South Adelaide lineup. Daryl Heath played a bit of footy, so too's David Steckel, but Peter McIntyre and Matthew Badhams, after that they're a bit thin.
You're just looking at them, I mean, they've got a few blokes around the 30 years old and a couple around the late 20s, but I mean, look at the amount of games that you just indicated. There's not that much experience out there today. So we see the ball brought down. Eagles go into attack, looking for Page. He takes a lovely mark. Running with the football. Mills was close with him. He's got Ziller out wide. He wants to use him. He does. He goes over the top of Mills. Finds Ziller. He'll run on. Line up for goals. She kicked it. Just pushes it to the right-hand side of the post. Goes through for the first score. Those scores are locked away, 1 point apiece.
Yes, just coming back to that comment, the Eagles have 7 players who've played in excess of 100 games. South have 4. South Adelaide really need their big guns firing. Osborne, who started very well, finding plenty of the ball, kick number 3 in the opening 3 minutes. Out here to Damien Mello, the former Norwood player. He's added a bit of grit to their team. He's really given them a go.
A few seasons with Kilburn, didn't he? He went away and won a couple of premierships with Kilburn.
Toughened him up, I think.
The serviceable contributor. Here we see Quinn puts the ball high in the air. Draper will just hold his ground. When he take the mark, he gets bombarded by players over the top of him.
Did pretty well,
didn't he? Yeah, it's a good grab. Just held his ground, knew he was going to be hit, and he was. Draper looks wider. Looks for Johnson. Johnson takes it on the wing. Won't have a bounce, decides to get the ball moving quickly. Looking for Heath. Heath a bit slow off the mark there. Led to the ball by Simpson.
Yeah, Hamish Simpson's form's been pretty good the first 3 or 4 weeks. Last week, perhaps wasn't so good. Pesh called to play on. Good work getting it out the back door was Greg Byrne, was it? Now Ziller. Hard at the ball. Oh, look, he got a kick from the bottom of that pack. That's just quite spectacular. Pesh handballs it forward to Wiedemann. They'll combine pretty well. The long ball, that's better from the Eagles. A long, quick ball, and it's Morfitt. Got the sit beautifully, used his body wonderfully well on Duncan Draper. Couldn't complete the mark. Now he bends it back to the point of the square, but no one running into the space. and it's all come unstuck for the Eagles.
Unusual match-up there. Draper on a very experienced player in Morford, 100 goals. A seasoned player he has been. As you can see the ball right on the grandstand wing is Jason Spear. Spear looks for centre half forward. Puts the ball high, looking for Philippo. Lovely. Taken off the pack. In towards Morford again. He'll turn his left leg. The player's running wide. He drags it across. He's hit the post. The player, James McClure.
We saw him here a couple of weeks ago, Mark. He really impressed McClure. Found plenty of the ball. And at both ends of the ground, he was able to provide plenty of drive. Morford set him up beautifully and just under pressure. Pulled the kick left and hit the post.
Yeah, Morford turning on his left leg. He should have had a shot at goals. As I said, he's a proven goal kicker. With the absence of Andrew Taylor. Very barrel play. We see the ball high. Neiman comes over with a fist, looking for the big spoil. There's Wiedemann. Gets collared.
Timmy Powell. It's not too much that Wiedemann hasn't done in AFL football in terms of having been hit. Tim Powell always gives a vigorous effort at the ball. Neiman palmed that one beautifully down to Pesh. So the combination of ruck and rover working pretty well, and Wiedemann ruck roving also working for the Eagles. Going forward, over the top of that, McIntyre paid the mark, was he?
Had some strange. Ken Shelton really has been let down by his big men over the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 games.
Let's talk about McIntyre.
And we're looking at you're looking at McIntyre today at centre half back. We're looking at Daryl Heath there, normal number 1 ruckman, starting at centre half forward. There's a few changes. As we see, umpire give a free to the big fella and David Neiman. Around about 35 metres out, 40 metres out from goals. Clicking with a slide, kicking with a slight advantage. Should easily make the distance. Just the accuracy, whether he can kick it straight enough or not. So he goes back, lays it out, and really does push it wide. Strong work in the back line by Draper. Puts the ball out for Osborne, who's been very busy already. Picked up 3 or 4 possessions. We see Dillon come through, just prepared to put the ball over the boundary line.
Dillon, they're on screen. Former South Adelaide Best and Fairest winner, so there'll be a bit of emotion out there for him in this match as he fronts up against his old team for the first time. McIntyre took front position, did it pretty well. Polkinghorne got the kick away. It was smothered. Zilla got away the kick. Polkinghorne was good enough to apply some extra pressure. This is Pays off the ground. Couldn't push it forward. The experienced wingman, Colville in screen, red hair, was there for support.
Yeah, you talked about experienced players before, David, but how do you contain Wiedemann, Pays, Zilla? There's plenty of experience there. We see McClure puts the ball high in the air. Hasn't gone anywhere. Players congregate around the pack. No real look at Neiman, bust through the pack. Got his boot to the ball, didn't go that far. He's in there again, puts it out, over to Philippo. Philippo can't get a clear kick either. Polkinghorne comes into size. The best method here is kick the ball straight towards the boundary line off the ground. And he does that. Goes for safety.
Sheer desperation from Polkinghorne, wasn't it?
Yeah, he just didn't want to muck around. He just had to get the ball to the boot as quickly as possible. Just get it out of the danger zone. He did that beautifully.
Pretty good option. The Eagles 2 points, South 1 point. Early stages of this first term as Wiedemann goes after it. Osborne handballs forward to himself. South Adelaide working along the boundary line. Polkinghorne in the finish got a kick away, but he was already across the line, said the umpire, and the ball will come back for a throw in.
South are making their first change. You've got Phil Merton coming on. He's going towards the back line here. He replaces Matthew Badhams.
Just a height differential required.
No, I just saw Matthew Badhams grab his chest. He may have a sore rib from previous games. He's still feeling a bit uncomfortable. We see Harris. Could have been called a mark. Is there going to be a mark and holding the ball? Experienced umpire there.
No, the umpire said it was touched off hand.
Touched off the boots, was it?
And therefore he didn't pay the mark. Neiman thumps the ball forward. Over the top of that was Quinn. And there's the new man on, 52, Philip Merton from Victoria. Had a run with a couple of AFL clubs. Hawthorn, most recently. Neiman to Zilla is good work. He's palming the ball beautifully. Pesh just inside the line, did very well to bring it back. But look at the kick. Slaughtered it, made it very difficult for Morford. Colville pushed over the line by Merton. So the Eagles are really congesting their forward line. If you have a look at the players that are in that zone, It'd be a good, probably, I'd suggest 20 to 26 players. Just congesting the Eagles forward line. Not a bad ploy by Ken Sheldon.
See the ball again. Harris flicks the ball out wide. Looking for Merton. Merton pushes the ball to see Johnson. Puts his body over the ball as it goes out.
Mark, we've seen a couple of players lose their footing in the opening moments of this match.
Perfect conditions.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get better than this. Bit of breeze. It's battle. McIntyre, Neiman. Osborne, very busy. Good work by Osborne. Gives it off to Harris. Harris takes one bounce, takes his second. Got players out wide to use. He does. Got Dennis Knight, ex-Springvale. Best and fairest player from 1995. Puts the ball high in the air. Saunders in front. Holds his grounds. The ball comes to the 40. Gets in there. Runs past. The ball knocks down on Heath. May put out in the full. Yes, he has. The umpire calls it. See the young fella. And Adam Pearce brings it in. Pearce puts it wide. Looking for Pesh. Pesh goes wide still. Dangerous kick. Looking for Pays. Over the top by Mills. Mills sets it up. Look for Whitman. Should kick this goal. Just drags it across his body and it goes through for a point.
Chris Whitman, a welcome addition back to the club this year. Spent last season captain coaching Southport in Queensland. The year before he was South Adelaide's best and fairest winner, and a lot of people were very surprised that he'd leave South Australia and go to Queensland. The opportunities are much greater here. It's a beautiful kick. Rogers to Pesh. Pesh working hard. It's a good battle between Pesh and Osborne. Off hands, Pays. Look at the pace. They've given him Mills today, Pays. They recognise he's a dangerous player, and Mills has the job of running with him. The Eagles move it forward. Cleverly done. McClure onto Pays. Look at the running from deep in the back pocket to deep in the forward line, and he's hit the post. Now that's the danger, isn't it, of Andrew Pays? He just keeps coming at you, and that could well have been a goal.
Very fit player. Andrew Pays. Very fit player, as we can see. Big fella and Draper goes straight down the middle of the ground, puts the ball high in the air. Who's he looking for? No one really. No one really wants to go up. Johnson decided at the end. There's plenty of players around the ball. Can't get a clear possession. Nobody here. You see the umpire once again blows his whistle, decides to throw it up again. Well, the Eagles have got an advantage. I mean, there's a slight breeze. Well, not a slight breeze. There's a good 2-3 goal advantage. They need to score soon. They'll be looking around about the 13-14 minute mark of the first quarter. Whitman takes it out of the air, kicks it around his body, his left leg. Who's he got up forward? No one. Draper decides to go for the spoil. Plenty of players around it. Looks like Big Stokel. Normally a forward.
Yep. South Adelaide playing this pretty well, Mark. The Eagles have got the breeze. And they're playing the boundary line. They're playing a scragging game. They're playing a congestion game. Frustrating the Eagles trying to run it free. Neiman, good tap to the back of the pack, no rover there. Harris picks it up, he'll go long and direct. Going forward, oh, beautiful pass. And Whitman, diving ball just inside the 50-metre line. Has movement forward, goes wide to the outer side. Out underneath this one, Mitchell. That was a beautifully weighted kick. So Mitchell and Totham having a battle in the middle.
Johnson.
Johnson, thank you, Mark. Johnson. Now at the back door, Phil Saunders into the open goal. And you can see why he mops up pretty nicely, and Ken Sheldon has high regard for him. Beautiful balance, beautiful skills, and gets South Adelaide's first.
He's low to the ground, isn't he? You just look at that type of player, he just cleans up beautifully. I just see the ball coming in.
He's carrying a bit of weight, Mark. I think he'd be more effective as he trims down a bit.
I think he's just that size, that sort of build that he is. He's very low to the ground. Really stocking type of player, but as I said before, he's an opportunist. I mean, that's his bread and butter. When the ball hits the ground, he has to be there to clean it up in front of the pack. And this time, he's at the back of the pack. Lucky enough, the ball came over the top, and he's kicked through for a second kick in league football, and he's kicked a goal.
So South Adelaide 1 goal, 2 lead the Eagles 3 points. The margin out to 5 points, and Ken Sheldon would be happy at this stage of the game with the work rate of his players. Not sure that Bruce Winter would be completely pleased with the conversion by the Eagles, as Osborne goes out of the middle, wide to the outer side. Whitman pursued by Rogers. Whitman cleverly taps it back. Oh, good work there, Knight, upended by Pays. Good vigorous work by Pays. Look, he's taken on 3 of them. And in the finish, he's stolen that ball and almost got away with it. It was just tremendous commitment by Pays.
Yeah, both sides have started reasonably well. The keys to both sides are in there. Osborne for Polkinghorn, Whitman for South, Pays, Wiedemann, and Pesh for the Eagles. So the ball thrown in again. Neiman holds front position over McIntyre. No real advantage for any side. It's like Mills has put the ball forward, put it high, will bounce over the top. Plenty of players around it. Greg Byrne. Got players out wide, and Whitman. Can't take it. Dillon cleans up. McClure puts it forward. Easy mark, missed there. You see the ball once again goes to the ground. We've seen it a few times this year, haven't we, Dave, where the skill level really hasn't been good early. We've seen here today that just players still aren't hitting the ball with their hand or their feet to any real advantage.
Off hands, Filippo, back from injury, gives it back to Totten, evades the tackle, did well. Now a long ball deep into the forward pocket. Who's there underneath this one? Big pack from behind. It was Stokel. Dumps it away. Cleverly done to Polkinghorne. Now they're working this out pretty well in the finish. And that was Merton dropping it short. Now Michael Johnson. A long ball to centre half forward. Burns sits underneath it. Browning upended him. The umpire said it was a free kick or a mark. Take your pick. Perhaps the advantage could have been played there. South Adelaide were running away into an open goal.
He played the mark, so he had to bring it back and come back over his mark.
Burn.
Can't play the advantage.
Fair enough. Loose ball. Desperate work deep in defence. And Bailey, number 44 for the Eagles, wraps it up with Dennis Knight on the bottom of that pack.
Unusual forward and back structure here for South. They've got Big Stokel. And
Laid at full forward.
Laid at full forward and Heath the centre half forward. So a couple of proven ruckmen.
Interesting ploy that, because if you look at the Eagles' defensive zone, Spear is not all that tall, neither is Rogers. And I think you've got to say that Hamish Simpson is a fair lump of a lad, but they haven't really got the height to go with the Adelaide generally. It's a trip.
Yeah, good trip. Nick Pesh. Unlucky Nick Pesh, as we said before. Really didn't have a very good game last week. That's, he's put in a couple of good serviceable performances. We can see Johnson on his left leg, decides to go over the handball across to Knight. Knight gives it back to Johnson. What can they do this time? Johnson drives the ball in far, but no one back there. Good bloke. Hamish Simpson puts the ball out wider. The Eagles have got a chance here. Got players loose. Filippo's come a long way down from centre half forward to take it well past the wing. He's given over the top. This time Pays. That style. Wiedemann just uses his body just to push out Polkinghorne. Zilla looks in board. He's got him. There goes Pays across the top to Wiedemann. What will he do this time? He steadies himself from right on the 50-metre line. Drives the ball in. Has he kicked the goal? I think he has. A lovely goal. And Eagles first. That was set up from the back pocket, wasn't it, David?
Well, that's where they started. It was a great mark by Simpson, who handed it back to Pesh. But what about the movement out the far side that they just created? And Pay set it up. Filippo, you called it, was a long way from home, down on a half-back flank. But they ran it so very strongly in the finish when Wiedemann ended up with the ball. They had Pays coming back inboard, Zilla following up. So Zilla and Pays combined so very well, but the options were there for the Eagles.
The Eagles 1-3-9. South Adelaide 1-2-8. We're just about to start time on. It's about the 21-minute mark of this first quarter. Ball's put high. McIntyre thrown in the ruck now. Osborne had a good half a dozen possessions so far this quarter. Puts it out to Whitman. Whitman drives the ball quickly in the forward. Looking for Lay. Lay comes out in front. Takes it, looks for players and support. There isn't. There's Heath. Picks the ball in beautifully. Can't quite keep control of it. Put out wide. Pesh gives it across. Dillon. Neiman. Who's he really handling it to? Neiman's there. Nobody else. McIntyre decides to throw it on his boot. Puts the ball high in the area. And a safe mark taken by Jason Spear.
Double teaming Heath at centre half back, by the way. Simpson's back there, so too Spear. They're working it out. Wiedemann's working pretty well too. Rogers comes back in board, did that pretty well to Browning. Hasn't played a lot of senior football, Nigel Browning. This is only his 11th senior game in 2 seasons with the Eagles. Gives it out to Wiedemann. Oh, he fumbled it. The umpire paid it though. Perhaps a bit fortunate.
Players aren't working, Dave. I'm just watching. They're getting involved, and just when they have to get involved. I mean, no players really working up and down the ground at the moment.
Oh, no, it's a goal.
Is that a
That's
goal?
A goal. That is a goal to Morfitt from the boundary line. The left footer does a Dacos and boots it right through, grubbers it through, really, for the Eagles' third.
Shane Warner would have been happy with that leg break.
The Eagles' second, should I say. The scoreboard beat me. Well, that's a pretty fair effort. That's one out of the blue, isn't it? They're just a bonus goal, one you don't really anticipate, and just an opportunist. You put it somewhere around the mark, some go through and some don't, and Morford had the presence of mind just to put it around the area, and some of them go through. That one did.
The Eagles extend their lead. They're now 2-3, 15. South are 1 goal, 2-8 still. Ball bounced again. McIntyre thumps the ball far forward. South haven't got numbers around the ball. Mellor, Heath, very smart tap on. See Saunders out to Osborne. Docks and D's nobody. He will set it this time. Will he kick the goal? Goes back. Has he put it through? No, he hasn't. Across the face of goals and through for another point. Gee, Osborne's in everything at the moment, isn't he?
They're the ones that kill you, really, when you have a look through. You look at Andrew Osborne last year, 21 games for 18 goals, and you've got to say that you're looking for a better return from a rover, a key
he's
rover.
He's that type of rover that, I mean, he rows most of the day. A lot of work is done through the back lines. You see Osborne again. Ball put down by Heath. Osborne on his left leg. Does he bring it back here? I think he has. He's brought it back far enough, but it hits the post. Unlucky for that side. Well, Osborne gets his second point.
Well, the Eagles have hit the post twice. McClure got it once, and Pay's got it the other time at the other end, so they do tend to level themselves out, don't they? Spear from fullback. Target is Bailey from behind Lade. He really is a quality ruckman. And South Adelaide today have declared him a forward. It's an interesting ploy, isn't it? McIntyre rucking out of the middle at the moment.
Still remember McIntyre a couple of years ago was put out here in Woodville Oval and destroyed the Eagles.
He did.
He really set it up. He led by example. The best on ground. If you see Knight, put the ball high into the area. There's Byrne, there's Heath. Plenty of tall timber. Mellor picks it down. On his left leg, tries to bring it back. We see Rogers across the ground. Which way will he go? He'll turn inside. Plenty of players in the middle of the ground. Just sets it up lovely. That's Pearce. Pearce gives across the Zilla. He takes a bounce. Got plenty of room ahead of him. Take another bounce if he wants to. Gets the ball on quickly. Looking for Filippo. No one there. Pays is down. He'll get the free kick.
Mills was holding pace in the umpire, so that perhaps is the benefit of 3-umpire system, isn't it?
Pays puts it in, looking for Morford. He's out in front, takes a lovely mark. Knows when to lead. And that was a lovely kick as well by Pays. Beautifully judged. You see the big fella take the ball.
Played as a defender this year, played as a ruck rover. With Taylor's injury, forced back to a full forward.
And Morford puts the ball high in the air. Has he brought it back? No, he hasn't. As we see it go across. No, I think Badham's taking a mark right in the last line of defence. Badham's who went off around about the 5-10 minute mark of this first quarter. Looked like he was holding his ribs. He's come back on. Lade tries to use his body. Not much of one, but he tried to use it.
Doug Bailey, the player then who thumped the ball across the line, and if you look at the Eagles recruits this year, they're pretty happy with what they've got, particularly guys like Bailey coming over from St Kilda, really giving them an element of strength.
We saw Bailey a few weeks ago. He was big and he was mobile. Kicked a couple of goals. See him again. Here's Big Bailey. Gets on his left leg. Puts the ball forward. There's Wiedemann. You can see the ball pushed over by Badhams.
Thought Phil Saunders showed some great courage on that occasion. Just ran straight at Doug Bailey. Forced Bailey wide on the left boot. Didn't deviate and then smothered the kick. A real sign that he's got some team disciplines about him. This is Badhams, upended by Pesh. That was a vigorous tackle. Rogers crashed through, just kept coming at it. Badhams was good. Browning was very good. Applied the tackle. It sits for Tottenham, but umpire Doddridge indicates, fellas, it's a dead heat, and I'll have a bounce. So into time on of the first term. The Eagles 2 goals, 3-15. South Adelaide 1 goal, 4-10. The margin 5 points in favour of the Eagles, but frankly, in the context of the game, there's nothing between the two sides. Neiman handballs back to Tottenham, needs support from Zilla. Zilla forced wide by Mello, gets away the kick. This is Saunders, stole away with it. The kicking's nice too. A long ball back there, great commitment. Simpson backed into the pack and did it pretty well in the finish, the big fellow.
He's copped one too, I think.
I think
he's getting up.
Andrew Osborne's holding his head too, so a couple of players felt that one.
And Zilla on the wing, gets the ball moving quickly. Puts it over to Pearce. Pearce drives down that wing. Got Filippo out wide. He takes it on his chest. We'll go back. He's got a lead on. Big fella in Neiman comes out hard. Morford's back there. On Draper. We see Lade just comes across the front of the pack and takes a lovely mark.
I was just about to mention Lade. He dropped back into the hole to thwart the lead.
Worked hard, didn't he?
Big ones.
He got back there.
Yep. And then when the kick came in, he made another 30 or 35 metres to get back and take a diving mark. He really is a class act, but very raw.
He's got no one with any height up forward. Oh, Mellor takes the ball from the back of the pack. He takes a bounce. Looks towards centre half forward. He's got players moving. It's Powell. Powell takes it on his chest. Got Knight wider. Uses him. Not on his left leg. On his right, he takes it. Puts it to McIntyre, who was started on the balls as their ruckman. He takes a mark right from 50. Can kick from outside 50. Prodigious kicker in
you
football.
can see why Ken Sheldon's frustrated, you know. You see a guy take a mark like that and he shows that he's a quality player. Now, he didn't play much at all last year, did he? 2 or 3 games?
He's played about 3 games in about 18 months of football, he has.
But when he's playing, he's just terrific.
He just gives him, I mean, he's a quality player. We've seen him play for the Crows and kick a bag full of goals. So if he can go back, he puts the ball high. He's got the distance he has. I think he's put it through. He has from outside of 50, a magnificent kick by Peter McIntyre. Puts his first.
Team leader last year, didn't see a lot of him. That right knee heavily strapped. And you're right, he played 3 games last year, kicked 2 goals. And a guy like him playing in a key forward post is capable, of kicking 70 or 80 goals. They lost Danny Delray at the start of this season. They needed a focal point in their forward line, and if McIntyre can stay fit, he's the man.
Can't be long to go to the rest of this quarter. The Eagles are 2-3-15. They're trailing South at the moment. South have bounced back, lead by a point. See the ball pushed forward by Johnston. Numbers around the ball this time. Got Heath doing a lot of body work, trying to hold it in the area. Doesn't quite keep it in. Tottenham puts it over the top. We've got Zilla looking for a movement. We've got Morpher that's moved. Come across the time. It's young Filippo on his left leg. Centres the ball. Stokel goes back and takes a mark. A safe mark on the last line of defence. She's laid up forward. Lade gives it across. It's Phil Merton. Takes a bounce. Kicks the ball way across the face of the direction that he wanted to go. The Eagles clean up again. South outnumber the Eagles here. They've got about 5 onto 2. All they need to do is hold the ball. The umpire called holding the ball. I think he has. We see Whitman. South had the numbers. Just had to wait for the Eagles to make a mistake, and they did. McIntyre didn't time his run. Knight over the back. Comes inside. Kicks across the face of the ball. Which way the ball bounce? Favours the Eagle. Colville. Haven't seen much of this quarter. He's been pretty impressive in his early games. See Quinn falling backwards. Tries to knock the ball towards the boundary line. Didn't quite make it. But butters up again. This time he gets his ball to the boot. His boot to the ball. And puts it across. Pretty torrid affair out there, isn't it? I mean, the ball's really covering most parts of this ground at the moment.
Yes, I think conditions are pretty good for it. The breeze has dropped, so you suggest that maybe the Eagles have had use of it, but haven't used it, if that makes sense. This is Wiedemann working hard.
Had the first option, didn't use it.
McIntyre just slowed him right down. Wiedemann doesn't wait for the free kick or set it up. He just plays on quickly, drops it back, but Lade sitting back underneath it, marks quickly. This is Harris from centre half back. Ships it short. Badhams will play on quickly. Does so successfully. Powell's the next target. It's going long and wide. Powell dives. Gets there just in front of Spears. The siren sounds. The quarter time score here at Woodville Oval is South Adelaide 2 goals 4-16, leading the Eagles 2 goals 3-15, and you've seen all the action on ABC Sport.
Start of the second quarter here at Woodville Oval. The Eagles are trailing South by a point. The ball's put down. Neiman and Ruck against Lade. The ball's pushed forward towards the Eagles' direction. Big fella on page. Zillick gives it back to Wiedemann. Wiedemann pumps the ball forward. Colville take control. Will he use his pace? No, he doesn't. Decides to get the runners inside. Ball's kicked forward up to Morford. Which way will he turn? Natural left legger. Decides to keep the ball in. No, he doesn't. Just ball goes out over the boundary line.
Don't know whether you picked that up, Mark. It was Pays who came off the wing, had the ball handballed forward to him. He just couldn't reach it, kicked it off the ground towards Morford. Now, if Morford had just dived to that, he could nearly have taken a chest mark. I mean, Pays is a very quick thinker. Draper gives it off. This is Harris. Back inboard, Osborne on the left boot. Forced to go wide. Now, will it run all the way to the boundary, or will Pesh get there first and pick it up and drive it back? Direct opponents will fight it out. Osborne gets there, forces him wide. Deep in the pocket, it's Filippo, and that's not a bad kick by Pesh. But you've got to ask the question, what's Filippo doing out there, calling for the ball?
You've got to chase some kicks occasionally. I mean, he's not that big to be able to take a big mark in front of anybody. He really needs to get out and create some space, but I mean, he's holding the ball up here. He reckons he can kick a goal. So he goes back, leans back into it, puts it toward the top of the square. Will it come back in? No, it doesn't. Lake gets his hands to it and is prepared to put it out back over the goal line for another point for the Eagles.
Well, he did nearly kick it too. One other thing about Filippo is he'll give you everything. I mean, that's the trademark of all Filippos.
Oh, what a kick.
Powell, the big
Three
fly.
Players on one.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Spear around the corner. Morford. Now, that's the third or fourth time he's got hands to the ball and hasn't completed the grab. So he's had his opportunities. Draper wide. Badhams to the outer side. Now, they've learnt from the Eagles. The Eagles played that far side right down and really reaped the benefits of it in the first term. Merton forced back wide. Browning from behind. Mello from the front. Stolen away by Pesh. He really has been at the fall of every ball. He just steals it with sheer power. Gives it back to Wiedemann, who's also been pretty good. He misses it. Badhams gathers it in. Oh, Pesh again. Toe pokes it forward. Knight got him. Totham fumbled it, and then Badhams butters up for a second opportunity. Good second effort by Badhams. He just really harassed and fought and finally won the ball.
I like the attitude of Pesh. I mean, he's had a kick in the backside during the week. He's been dropped. I mean, he's come out today, and his first 30 minutes of football has been pretty entertaining
and productive too. Found plenty of the ball. A couple of good battles. Osborne and Pesh is working pretty well. Polkinghorne and Wiedemann is another one to have a look at as the two ruck rovers go at it, and Lade and Neiman. And you've got to say that while Lade is perhaps more highly regarded, Neiman has been winning every single ruck contest, as he did on that occasion. Polkinghorne goes to ground. Wiedemann picks it up, drives long and high towards full forward. Oh, well done, Draper. Pushed Morford underneath the ball and held his ground pretty well, the big man.
It was pretty easy, wasn't it? Draper just used a little bit more size than what he has over Morford. Used it well. Back to Quinn. Quinn drives the ball high in the air. This could be marked by anybody. Around about 10 players. We see Ziller from the back. Is he taking it? No, he hasn't. Osmond's down early. Lehman, he's like a rover, picks the ball up. Looking for other players. Wiedemann pops the ball up over the top, finds his captain in Rogers. Rogers gives it forward again. This is McClure, looks for the short pass. He's picked him out.
Biglands.
That's the new player in Biglands.
Freddie Biglands. He looked pretty good on the lead, didn't he? Just flew out of the blocks. Looked like Tony Modra initially.
Only a young lad too, only just turned 18. As he goes back, should kick this. Leans back into it beautifully. Has he kicked it? I think he has. The umpire comes back to the centre of the square. Another goal for the Eagles. That really was set up by some hard work done by Wiedemann through the middle of the ground, and Rogers, who ran from the half-back flank. Came through the middle, gave it over the top to young McClure.
And
Rhett Biglands right on the chest.
Rhett Biglands joins an elite band of footballers who goals with his first kicking lead football. And he did look pretty good, and he stacks up pretty well against a big fellow like David Steckel, so he's a fair size. And if you're bigger and stronger and faster than David Steckel, you're going to be a fair footballer.
Umpire Rabbit back in the middle. The Eagles back in front. They lead 3 goals 4-22. The South 2 goals 4-16. The ball put down. Lade this time uses his height. Gives it across to Osborne, who gives it to Knight. Has Knight been killed? Holding the ball he has.
Now, has Dennis Knight not got a left foot mark? I mean,
we haven't seen today, have we? I mean, there's a couple of times there today. We saw in the first quarter. We had a chance to kick on his left. We didn't use it. He decided to steady himself and kick on his right. We see the ball brought through. It's the big fellow, and Doug Bailey puts a beautiful pass forward. He is Very mobile, very good skill level for a bloke who's 6'4", 6'5". Morford pops the ball out. And he's found Hamish Simpson.
Down from centre half back.
I think he started in the back line. He's been moved forward. Just to give him a bit of bite.
I think he's just run down.
Well, the breeze really isn't favouring this end. We saw in the first quarter South kick a couple of goals, and we're seeing now the Eagles have started very well into it. The ball's given over to Colville. Hasn't gained a great deal of advantage, but maybe an angle to shoot from. But Colville, he'll be kicking right, I reckon, just outside of 50. It's a fair kick for a bloke his size. It's his second year at the Eagles. A handful of games last year. He's outside the 50, puts the ball high as he made the distance. Kicking into the breeze. At the back of the pack is Filippo. I think he's taken it. The umpire has called it. It's a lovely mark, falling backwards by Filippo.
We mentioned it before. He just gives an honest commitment, an honest jump at the ball every time, this fellow. And when it gets pretty tough, he'll always be there. Around on the left now. Bends it back, gets his first. No, he doesn't. He's just missed.
There have to be 25 players inside the Eagles' 50-metre square there, or half circle. You see Draper. Hasn't really got a great deal of movement across there. I think he's decided to go down the middle of the ground. He's got Stokel down there. He's got Mello. He's got Osborne. Kicks the ball out to Lay. He's found him. Great grab. It's an awkward ball to take, but Lay just took it quite easily. He looks further down. Who's he got there? Dylan. Former teammates. Picked him out beautifully. Dylan goes back quickly. Looks wide. Got plenty of runners. This here is Nigel Bowie. Another young fella, only 19. The ball's put forward. Morford comes out. I think he's taken. No, he hasn't. He drops it. Hasn't really had a chance to take one today. See Pesh coming out. Pesh takes it, puts it over to Colville. Which way will he go? He's got players forward. He's going to get it across to Morford. Kicks it up, but couldn't quite get it far enough around. And hits Mill for South Adelaide on the chest. Mill goes wider.
Yeah, let's not take away the work by Merton just to force a bit of pressure. Badams, Polkinghorn. A long ball. Oh, great take, Heath. In front of Simpson. Gives it off to Powell. Forced under pressure by Rogers. Rogers did very well. This is Pearce through the midfield. McClure couldn't gather it in. McIntyre starting to find the ball to the big fellow. Looks good for South Adelaide. Knight undecided now, brings it back, holds the ball, goes long for Powell. In the back, yes to the umpire. It's a free kick.
Just had to hold his ground. He did that.
Did it pretty well.
Just had the holding. The Eagles player was moving to get to him. Just couldn't quite get his fist to the ball, and the Eagle bloke has pushed him fair square in the back.
We saw Tim Powell in half a dozen games last year. Just tough, hard and explosive.
Solid boy, isn't he? Strong. Plenty of upper body strength, as long as having that his thighs and his, as you can see, the backside on him, he's got plenty of bulk around him. Comes in, just inside 50, puts it high in the air as he kicked it. I think he has. It's come back. The umpire walked back into the middle of the square. I think it's a goal. It is. That's a great goal. That's his first. A good goal. A goal that South needed.
Set up really, wasn't it, by Heath? The big mark in front of Simpson, the handball forward. The Knight movement just worried me a bit. He just hesitated for that split second, and the kick really didn't go where he wanted it to do. Powell held his ground pretty well, forced the free kick, got the free kick for a push in the back, put it through. He really is an experienced player, Tim Powell.
We're back in the middle. South trail by a point. Eagles are 3-5, South Adelaide are 3-4. Ball's put up high. Neiman comes in, pushes the ball his way. Harris comes out first. Filippo didn't want to be a part of it. Osborne gets the ball out wide to Badams. Badams is steady himself. He's got players up wide. He's got Powell there again. Big spoil by the Eagles back line. Gun Pearce is in there somewhere. Knight's in there. He's going to knock the ball out wide. He's got support. He's got Whitman, very clever player. Just fakes it a bit, puts the ball up high, and a big mark by Johnson. Outside the 50, has to get up and get back quickly, turn his head around and look forward. Got to get it moving. Just don't give the Eagles a chance to get back there. Bit of space. It's been crowded there by Heath. Looks like Johnson's backing himself from just inside the square. I think he's having a shot at goals. He puts it high, drags it a little bit. Got plenty of tall timber up there. The ball being punched back forward. Ziller ends up with it. Smothered by Whitman. What can he do? Ziller again, gets in there, lovely handball. Looks like Pearce. Pearce will run across the play, comes out wider. Pays is there, he takes from charge. Which way will he go? Gives it back to Whitman on his left leg. Got plenty of runners. Players up wider.
Just Tottenham. Now, Pays has got Badhams running with him now, so Mills obviously wasn't felt appropriate in the first quarter. Oh, look at the kick from Rogers to Neiman. Big fella's rucking pretty well today. Called to play on now, forced on the left boot. Two-sided play, did it pretty well in the finish, and the kick goes forward. Colville smothers it, picks it up on the run. If he just gets forward, he can go into the open goal. Dragged to ground, it's holding the ball, said the umpire. Sudden death back there, but he went to ground with the ball, and that's the rule, isn't it?
He showed a yard of pace too, Colville. He was about 4 or 5 deep.
Yeah. Knight, wider still. Far side, this is Johnston, playing in the middle. A long wide ball to Powell and Spear. Oh, Powell, just too much strength for Spear.
He's moving as well. I mean, he really is covering one side of this half-forward line across the other. I mean, he's using the east and the west. He really is covering a hell of a lot of ground, really leading into the football every time.
Yeah, Spear's no slouch either, so if you're beating him to the ball, you're doing pretty well. This is Mills, started on a wing, now looks to be, playing in a forward pocket. And from 45 metres out, he'll have a shot for his first goal. Panthers trail by a point.
It's not too often you see this young fella on the half-forward line having a shot for goals. He's a notorious backman. Played most of his footy back there, as you can see. Rings he can kick it. Looks like he has too. Yeah, he doesn't look like a back pocket player. He's kicked it. Brings up his first. And puts the fourth on for South.
Let's just have a quick look. He kicked 2 goals in 22 games last year, so not renowned as a goal scorer. And he went back like a man who really wasn't confident when I had a look at him. But he certainly made no mistake and put it through. Lade comes off for a rest, coming on Tim Deacon.
Former teammate of Chris Whitman.
Yeah.
South have big raps. I know there's a few people over the border at Carlton Footy Club also been watching this player fairly closely as well. So back in the middle, umpire Abbott. South extend their lead. They go 4 goals, 4-28, leading the Eagles 3 goals, 5-23. The umpire finds a free kick. That's Badhams. The players out wide. Johnson looking for Deacon. Will use his bulk and his strength. He gets in front position, the right place at the right time. No, he hasn't. He's put it across. Rogers has given it to Whitman, who hooks it over his head. Will it come back? No, it doesn't. The umpire puts up one finger. Score a point.
Mark, one of the areas I think South have improved over the last couple of years is holding the ball in their forward zone. I think that's probably one of their areas of improvement. But they just don't seem to run it or explode from half back, and I think that's still an area of weakness. Mills drives it forward. Saunders over the top of the ball, held his line nicely. Spear gathers it out. Pesh doing well, working back deep in defence. Handballs it inside to Colville, who needs support. Gets it in the finish from top.
It's going to be trouble.
Yeah, they worked it out pretty well, didn't they? Pesh, cleverly done. Now, South Adelaide should have stopped them running downfield. That's another area where they're very poor.
That's what they got to do. Get the ball forward quickly. Don't muck. There's too many handballs by the Eagles players then. Bruce Winner couldn't be happy with that. They had a chance to go forward and they've wasted it. Look at this. The ball's pushed up wide, and that's what I mean. Get the ball down as quickly as you can. The South done that. They just you just saw Badhams pick the ball up on the wing there, kick the ball quickly forward. Whitman grabs it, turns around, kicks it forward. There's Deacon sitting in the forward line by himself, takes an easy chest mark. And he'll go back from around about 30 metres. Should kick it. Not much of an angle as we can see. Lovely camera work, and he kicks it first for his first goal, his first possession for the day. And that's what I mean. Straight forward, straight down the middle of the ground. It's a good goal by South.
He's a big lump of a lad, isn't he? One suspects still a bit of fitness work ahead of him, and Ken Sheldon would be aware of that. And just needs a bit of running and a bit of conditioning.
Last time we saw him, he had hair halfway down his back. He's had the Andrew Jarman haircut in the last week.
So at the bounce, South Adelaide 5-5, the Eagles 3-5, 2 goals the margin now. South stepping away. The Eagles need a quick reply at this stage of the match. We've played just on 14.5 minutes into the second term. Neiman thumps it down. Tottenham couldn't get there. Filippo decides he'll split the pack and feed it out to Colville. The Colville kick towards Zilla is good work, and Zilla marks at half forward. As movement on, Pays is there. Morfitt goes short. That's where the kick heads, but dropping back Badhams. Did it beautifully, didn't he?
I still believe he's playing under a little bit of duress. He's clutching his chest, as we can see. Some good handball work there by Johnson on a fair bit of pressure. The clean up beautifully by Hamish Simpson. Ball's high. There's Harris at the back. He decides to go for the mark. Bit undisciplined. Should have gone for the spoil. It's a touch. Put on. Quinn's got plenty of runners. Mello Mellor puts the ball forward. There's
No,
Powell
Mello.
again.
You're right, the first time, Mello.
Gets a hit in the back of the head. There's no free kick there. Ball's pushed wide. It's Jason Spear. Normally plays at full back. A bit of freedom today on this half-back line. Quinn dives on the ball. Or dives on his opponent as well. Mello trying to keep control, make it pin for holding the ball. He doesn't get out of it. The umpire decides no, didn't have an opportunity. See another ball up.
Yeah, if you dive on top of it and the player can't get it out, it's a bit difficult, but James McClure had part of that. Played just on 15 and a half minutes. The margin 12 points in favour of South. And in the bounce, Neiman again wins it. I think you'll find that he's won most of the taps today. Colville tripped, and the umpire was right there, saw the infringement, and picks it up. So at half forward, Colville looks to play on. Now he's stepping precariously wide of the mark. Should be called to play on. Now he is.
Yes, he is.
Yep. Just can't get away with that. He was trying to improve the angle and call for someone to go forward. The long ball in, McIntyre from behind affects a spoil. It flicks to the back door where Steckel picks it up and drives it long and low, but Tottenham at midfield marks just inside the 50. Goes short. Neiman the target, the big fellow, needs support, gets it from Colville. Crashing through, he can line him up on the left boot and go towards goal. He does so, but it's wide. He's felled after disposal. So there'll be an FAD downfield in the forward pocket for the Eagles. And it looks to me to be Andrew Pays to go back and take the kick, and Wiedemann just picks up Colville, still feeling the effects.
Andrew Page, fairly acute angle. He's got players moving back. He's found him, and Filippo decides to go back 20 or 30 metres to improve the angle. Young Sam Filippo. Will make the distance. Whether he can just kick the ball in a straight enough line will be questionable, and he hasn't. He's just laid back on the football. Really didn't concentrate on or take any care in that kick. And Dave, he's kicked, what's he had that today? About 3 points.
Spot on.
Seen.
Spot on, Mark. Now,
what a good effort.
That's a criticism I've got of the Eagles, of their forward structure, particularly Andrew Taylor and
just saw him. I mean, just laid back. I mean, didn't have any care at all in his technique, or
still maintain that
doesn't concentrate.
That's an area
you've got to go back and think about that shot. I mean, so important. Just don't waste goals like that. We see Stokel. Really has covered a fair bit of ground today, Stokel. Merton over the top, gives it to Osborne. Haven't seen him as much as we did in the first quarter, gives it to McIntyre. Got players moving forwards. Deacon out in front. There's an arm on the shoulder. No, there's not. Deacon still needs a strong fella. He'll hold the ball in. Knight gives it out wider. Looks like Osborne's run down again. He's puts it forward, and Powell's taking a lovely mark in front of his hands, in front of his face, on his hands. Will go back. He's already kicked one this quarter. Opportunity now to kick his second.
Seems to me that Jason Spear is just struggling out at half forward. Used to playing at full back or occasionally centre half back or a back pocket, but Tim Powell is running him around ragged. Just seems to be second to the ball, and Powell is very strong once he takes front position. Very difficult to shift.
Powell lines up, only 20 metres out. 45-degree angle. Ball's gone across the face, I believe. It has, and the umpire registers another point. It's one South really did need. I mean, they would have extended their lead a little bit further. Looking around about the start of the time on period, about the 20-minute mark of this second quarter.
Yep, we're 18 minutes 40 in, Mark. It's difficult with that time clock. The Spear kick to the outer side. Neiman front position. The ball thumped to ground. Over the top of it, Zilla fights hard for it. Wiedemann's there, 25 is Browning. But Polkinghorne, who we haven't seen a great deal of today, started pretty well in the opening 3 or 4 minutes, found a bit of the ball, but we've hardly sighted him since. I think Wiedemann has got on top. And maybe it's just maybe that Polkinghorne's gone a little defensive. So, Knight on the boundary line. No, over the boundary line, said the umpire. Mark Ryan was running with him. And that's Knight, midfield. Solid player. Looks a lot like Matthew Powell, who's playing for South's reserves. He's out of favour with the selectors. Tottenham did it well. Gets through to Browning. Fumble. Up it, loses his feet in the finish. Now that's a sin, isn't it? And Wiedemann driving it forward to Filippo. So the Eagles need to get moving. There's plenty of space if they can get runners moving into it. Browning goes running into space. Filippo comes back towards centre half forward. Morfitt was the target. Draper did pretty well, but Merton foils back On the left, this is Mello. Straight down the centre. It's not a bad tactic today, is it? With the breeze. A long ball. Spear at the back. Could have marked in the finish. Dumps it to ground. Phil Saunders, first man there. Just paddles it towards the boundary line. I'm not sure that really that was the best option. It was one-on-one against Rogers, and you would have thought or hoped the bloke with his ability and pace would have backed himself in.
I don't think he's that quick, David. He just, I believe he lacks a yard of pace for a player his size, but he should have done more with it then. Had an opportunity to tuck it back in. As you can see him up again, he's got his hands on it. Good players, 40 has. He gives a chance to Osborne. Osborne on his left leg, brings it back in. Who's in front? It's Deacon. Can't take it, knocks the ball out again, a bit wider. St. Pierce cleans it up. Looks for his captain, didn't quite make it. Zilla takes it, gives it back to Rogers this time. Roger blasts the ball forward. He's got Wiedemann down, who really is being shadowed by John Polkinghorn today.
Done pretty well though, Wiedemann, hasn't he? And even on that in that battle, Polkinghorn had front position and Wiedemann just went crack. Thumped it towards the line, the intent quite evident.
Eagles make a change. Ugrinic. McIntyre uses his bulk. Thrown out there by Tottenham. Wiedemann got a great tackle by Ryan. Really did pull him down hard. If we see Polkinghorn trying to bust through and gets one a bit high. Polkinghorn picks himself up, gets back quickly. Put the ball forward, he does. Who's he looking for? Saunders cleans it up over the top. It's a lovely play, but that's that yard of place. He just hasn't got it, I don't think. Osborne, what can he do? Kick it over the top. He's got players running in Knight. Knight will take it. He does. Fingertip mark. Good play by South. Good play.
You've seen a bit of this Dennis Knight, Mark. Hails from where? Springvale?
He won the best and fairest there last year.
Skipper?
Springvale have won the last couple of premierships in the VFA. You see him go back. Once again, rushed his kick. You see at this level, don't you? This SANFL level, they just don't take enough time. You look in the AFL, they'll go back, they'll pull their socks up, tuck their jumpers in, just think about what they're about to go through. You'll see it, eight times out of 10 they'll kick the goal. At this level, players just seem to go back and just blast it forward.
Pretty good crowd here this afternoon watching
on the hill. There's plenty of West End beer being drunk out there.
Yeah. This is Marty Dillon, deep in the back pocket, the former South best and fairest winner. Drives it forward. Biglands tried to get one hand to it, but couldn't. And Bailey and McIntyre just jostling. Now, Bailey won't take a backward step, and neither will McIntyre. Bailey goes to full back, picking up Deacon from behind. Ball falls forward for Pays. One step, got his boot to ball. It ricocheted off Whitman and out of bounds on the full, so Pays will get the free kick.
No, even the players are
No, I thought Mark Ryan was terrific. Mark Ryan went and picked the ball up and threw it to Whitman and tried to calm the umpire, but the boundary umpire was having none of that. The kick certainly ricocheted off Whitman's boot, and the boundary umpire was right there. This is Rogers, best and fairest winner, former Essendon and Geelong player and Woodville player. Now back with the Eagles, right inside the line, Zilla. Former reserves McGarry medalist, did that pretty well. A long high ball towards the full forward post.
Now to me, David, that's where the ball could have gone, the first kick from Rogers. He's kicked it out on a 45-degree angle across the face of where he really wanted to go to. And the ball's ended up there after some good work by Zillow. You can see the ball from Tottenham. No, it hasn't.
To Shepherd.
Umpire will bring it back.
Against Colville.
Yeah, a bit high on Mills. Mills has got players and McIntyre forward. McIntyre gets the ball moving quickly. Looking for power. He has had a very good quarter. He backs himself, goes around two players. All he needs to do is straighten up and kick the goal. He does. He tries the check side, and for some reason, why would you want to try to do that? You had the time and the space just to steady yourself, straighten the body up and kick the goal through.
What about the Tim Deacon Shepherd on Spear, though? He upended Spear, and that's an element that South lacked just a couple of years ago. And Deacon was very solid protecting the ball carrier. That's an area where South could get a bit more mileage out of that. Bailey, the kick is long. Great mark taken underneath there. This is Rhett Biglands stamping a name for himself with a good mark and a good goal earlier in this quarter. We've played just on 25 minutes into the second term, almost into half-time. Harris from behind steals it away, almost gets there. Tottenham Handballs forward to Pesh. Now, Pesh has just died out in the last 5 minutes or so. Great smother, Whitman's. Good work. It ricochets nicely now for him. Skirts the pack. There's a fight on behind play. Tottenham and Polkinghorne. Play goes on. Quickest way of sorting that out. And an Eagle free kick goes back to Hamish Simpson. Another Queenslander. Now to Pearce. A wide ball. Great work out there. This is Higgin. This is McClure. Oh, Dylan did pretty well. Looked to play on too. Changed his mind.
A chance to be cleaned up as well.
Last split second. I think they let him off. Tottenham now. I don't know, Mark. Playing wide possession.
I mean, that's
football.
gone backwards 5 metres and across the ground. I just can't understand when they're down by 12 points to be trying to keep up. I know you have to keep possession, but kicking backwards across the face.
Filippo's not been dominant centre half forward. Morfitt's missed a few at full forward. So there is a confidence factor, isn't there, when you're going forward, you're saying, righto, what's the option? And they're going wide to the players who are performing rather than straight at centre half forward.
Neiman holds the front, gives it across to Coleman. Colville gives it over to Filippo. This time on his left leg, swings around and kicks a goal on his left leg. That's his first. He's kicked 1 goal, 3. And that's Eagles' 4th.
It's one of the things that Sam Filippo can do. He gets the ball anywhere within 30 or 40, and funnily enough, I think he's generally more accurate in play, and particularly on his left boot, than he is perhaps on his right foot in a set shot. And he does struggle with those set shot goals, and that's something he'll need to work on, but he is very good on his left boot and very good when he's running around the goals.
And the Eagles fight back. They're still trailing. They're 4 goals, 6-30 to South, 5 goals, 8-38. The ball's bounced down again in the middle. So we can hear the siren go, the half-time score. As I just said, South lead by 8 points, 5-8-38 to the Eagles, 4-6-30.
And all the action coming to you from the SANFL on ABC Football.
The past players of the Eagles are invited to half-time refreshments in the Eagles Bistro downstairs facility. Past players from the South Adelaide Football Club are cordially invited to attend on production of their South Adelaide past players' identification. Join the Quinn and the past players. Purchase your quality ring repeaters from Harriscar and other leading retailers. The Eagles, back with a vengeance in 96. Please to acknowledge the following four sponsors. Adelaide Regional Parking, a country feeling in a city setting. Wedding receptions, especially. Coca-Cola Amatil SA Limited, always Coca-Cola. SA Brewing Company Proprietary Limited, West End, South Australia's favourite beer. In addition, the support of our diamond sponsors is recognised. ANZ Australia. For all your interstate football package details, call ANZ Australia on 131 344. ANZ, better service by all accounts. Contact Peter Collins at the Woodville branch for home loan or deposit needs. Blackwell Funerals. Turn to a plan for prepaid and at-need funeral services and funerals day with VRL Hardy Wine Company. Wine, the James Champagne, Cottage Hill, Banrock Station and Double R. Cowley's Bakery, pies, Cornish pasties and cakes, baked fresh daily. Fisher and Michael, the innovators, manufacturers of a range of quality white good products available at leading electrical retail stores. Lotto, Eagles players perform better in Lotto Sportswear. Make sure you do too.
That side, so I'm talking to him.
Value Plus,
Yeah, should go that side, shouldn't it?
to being the best.
That side.
It's in the middle
Doesn't
of your
matter.
time.
Retail sponsors.
Okay, as long as you're happy.
Specialist suppliers to the road transport industry. Freestyle wines. Enjoy a freestyle wine in our club rooms today. The Albertson Wine Company. It's shaping up to be a season of champagne football. The SBC Cleaning Services Provider Limited for all your industrial and commercial cleaning needs. Next Dry Cleaners for the most comprehensive cleaning service in the state, including home pickup and delivery. Green transport for all your local transport needs. Builders Metal Products. All your sheet metal requirements, Cold Fielders. Clear curtains and blinds. You're always in fashion when your windows
Wear flares.
All your watches, clocks, fine jewelry and giftware, specialising in jewelry repairs. Melbourne Street Meat Company.
So we're doing the scores.
Meat and wood smoked ham.
I'm doing
Let's have I got a volume control on this.
I'll just have a look for you. Probably feed you.
Wow.
What do you want, more or less? Sound operator has it. So
Yes, it. Lovely. If we just bring it up just a fraction, please.
Turn mine
more for
down.
David, less for
Mark's-
Mark.
Way down for me.
More
Less for
David.
Mark and more for David.
Thank you. How's that?
Oh, beautiful. That's lovely.
How's yours?
Lovely, Jack. I couldn't. It was very faint for me before.
Mine's a
Have
little
we
bit
got
loud
what
still.
they're doing? Can we have that on our monitors? Sorry, mate. Oh, so we're not into the footy yet. Oh, okay. Well, we'll
15
just.
minutes. Cut it out, whatever
Have
you're doing
we
down
got
there.
15 minutes till we come to us? Well, I'm just going to go to the loo if that's the case. Ledge, if we got
Go
15
some
minutes.
lunch.
Yeah.
Can you turn mine down? Very loud. That's better.
Got that. So your problem's been fixed with your earpiece. You happy, Mark?
That's better.
Is that comfortable? Yeah. These are funny mic clips. David, I can grab him. David, come back. We're on air a little bit earlier than we thought.
Like 3 minutes or?
Probably in about 4 or 5 minutes.
I've got time just to go and have a quick pee.
Quick one.
Church, bar and
You have to go, Jackie, so I've asked him to
Mission
go.
weekly by Eagles Club Battalion and the Panthers Guest House Society.
Yes.
Tonight from
1.
9 o'clock, the Eagles are having a home match party.
Yep.
Admission
Thank you.
will be $5, so stay along and party
Legends
with the
alongside of me.
Members and supporters are advised that the Golden Wings gaming room in the Eagles Club is open. You're invited to come along and try your luck. Patrons are reminded that littering is prohibited under local government regulations. Vendors may be prosecuted and will be removed from the ground. Announcing the results. Announcing the results of the raffle held at the Winter Oval this afternoon. The Eagles home match raffle winner is a blue ticket, Q36. That's the winner of the Eagles home match raffle this afternoon, a blue ticket, Q36. And for the South Adelaide Football Club, the raffle sold here this afternoon, $50 cash prize from South Adelaide. The ticket number is 17973. In both cases, the holders of the winning ticket should contact the respective clubs during the week.
David's on his way back. He'll be with us at 30. I'll just talk to Jackie.
Plenty of time, Ledge?
Yep.
You happy?
We've had no panic as yet.
As long as you're happy. Who's that got carried off?
Big fella. Carter. Hit by Miller.
Yeah,
Scores a level.
He's due for one. Port aren't that good this year. And Norwood should be with the talent they've got
Norwood's
sitting
great
on top of the
games.
ladder.
Now, I'm. What else I need to know about
Ledge, just put those.
Matt Connell.
Yes, I am, Jack.
How did Matt Connell go
Yeah,
today?
very funny.
Anyone know how Matt Connell went?
Righto.
Yep.
So you intro the scoreboard between the Eagles and South, goals, and then into the highlights of the first half.
Yep.
And after that you make a brief comment, then we'll throw back to Stephen Trigg. Okay?
Righto.
Giorgio. He's still playing,
So we talked to Shane Harris before they come to us.
do they? All right. So we're covering, talking about our game as well, aren't we?
I think you need to. We'll talk about important game for South, 1 and 3. You know, they beat Sturt, but they've lost to Norwood, they've lost to Port and Glenelg, and you've got to say, well, what's the comparative strength? Today's a good test for them. See the boys didn't use any gel.
Who?
They didn't use any gel. And that,
Bloody hell. Oh no. That's a.
now you're doing the hardest nails, aren't you?
Hey?
You're doing hard as nails.
Yep.
Here we go.
You're hearing this?
Could I just have a bit more volume for me?
Volume for David. How's that, David?
Just a fraction more.
Tad more, please. Okay.
You turn yours up or mine up? Mine's screaming. Oh. Alan. He's a bloody Victorian. I'm sitting alongside of one of them. Adelaide Oval.
There's new corporate boxes in the background.
Okay?
That way.
Need a haircut, mate.
I do need a
Move
haircut.
A little bit closer together.
Due for a haircut.
Stand by. Here we go. Stand by.
They'll come to us after that to comment on that.
You are? All right.
No, come to our game, we comment on our game.
David, is this Shane Harris? voice over the scoreboard and goals first, then the highlights.
Yep. I do scoreboard, you do goals. I introduce the highlights.
All right.
And then we talk through the highlights.
Stand by, here we go.
Triggy, it's a very entertaining game. At half-time, we've only got 8 points in it, but it was a pretty important game, Mark, for South Adelaide when you think about it, wasn't it? They were 1 win and 3 losses coming into this match, and a loss today, I think, would have really just about been very hurtful for their career chance.
There's been plenty of pressure. I mean, there's been plenty of pressure out there today, but South needed to win it. I mean, they're leading by 8 points at the moment, but I mean, they've got a big second half to come up.
Well, if you have a look, South Adelaide led by 1 point at quarter time. The Eagles had the breeze in the first quarter, by the way, but at half time that's just blown out to 8 points. They were at one stage a couple of goals up, South Adelaide, and looking pretty good.
There hasn't been that many goals scored. As we can see, there's only been single figures. We've got Biglands, Phillippo, Wiedemann and Morfitt for the Eagles. We've got Deacon, Saunders, Mills, Powell and McIntyre for South.
Yeah, Phillippo kicked 1 goal.
Phillippo
kicked 1 goal, 3. And watching the highlight package, Mark, you'll see that it's been a pretty congested game. Spear has been playing at half-back. He's struggled on Powell. Wiedemann's been terrific as a ruck rover today, and so too is Pesh as a rover for the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, it's really has. I mean, the most experienced players for the Eagles, as we just called before, Pesh, Page, Wiedemann, I mean, they have been very, very busy. But on South side, I mean, Polkneyhorn, Osborne, I mean, the big fella and Lade, I mean, they've all been very productive also.
Now, it's interesting, Lade hasn't been used greatly in ruck. He was tried for quite a while at full forward at one stage during the first quarter. How have you seen that move?
Now, this goal here, just quickly, David, now that was something that you just, will tell your grandkids. It's a fantastic goal by Scott Morfitt. Look at this, tucked deep on the boundary line. He's got a lovely Shane Warden leg spin and it's gone through for a goal.
This is Powell handing off to new chum Dennis Knight from Springvale. He's been solid and tough, but look at the McIntyre mark. And we mentioned during the call that he's only played 3 games last year for 2 goals. And if South are to be any form of power this year, they need this guy firing.
Yes, we said he's only played about 3 games in 18 months, but a very long kick. I mean, he kicked this ball here from, I reckon, about 70 metres into the breeze, and he's kicked it through for a lovely goal. But really, I mean, as you can see, his knee is bandaged up there very heavily. But they really need Peter McIntyre to fire for South to be a force this season.
Well, I suppose you've got to say that the second half is pretty well poised. Neiman in ruck has been terrific. Wiedemann, we've already mentioned, he's been pretty good. Rogers here got through traffic. Went off to McClure, who's been pretty solid. But look at this is Rhett Biglands, first gamer for the Eagles. Good size lad, isn't he?
Yes, he's the first kick in league football, just happened to be a goal, but it was a lovely mark there.
Not a lot of players do that. Do you ever kick a goal with your first kick in league footy?
I think I only kicked a couple of goals in my whole career.
I did. I got 2 in my first 2 kicks, and that's something I've got to yark about from time to time. Triggy, how'd you go with your first couple of kicks in league footy?
Stephen, I did get a little bit of hot water, but it's going to be, I mean, it will be resolved fairly shortly, but I'd rather not to comment today. I'll just have to wait and see, I think, but I am in a little bit of hot water. I hit a nerve. Yes, I mean, I saw it during the week. I mean, most of the people are saying it's fantastic. Matt Connell is getting a game of football now. We're playing with the rules. I mean, what happens? I know John Reid and the boys, Bill Sanders down at AFL, down at the Adelaide Crows headquarters, I mean, they're not terribly happy. What happens June 30? I mean, what happens with the rules then? With player transfer, I mean, after June 30, a player can't transfer. So what happens if it's a bye and later on in the year another player needs to get a game of football. Does he go somewhere else to play? I mean, it's a very contentious issue there at the moment. Well, the Adelaide Crows won a reserve side. I mean, they are adamant when Port enter the competition, they'll be fighting as much as they possibly can to get a reserve side in the competition. Now, it's either going to happen with that, or next year we may see 2 more sides merge or another side drop out of the SANFL competition. I think we just have to wait and see what happens.
Well, I've been an advocate for a long time, Stephen, for a Crows reserve side. I think I was the first voice that said when they came in that they really needed a reserve side. It was the only way to do it. And I think the SANFL have been dragging their heels on that one a little bit. We've got to buy. We could have an SANFL side. And my theory is that the SANFL side wouldn't be an all-powerful side. They wouldn't win a premiership every year. And in fact, the Crows could use that as a developmental team and to get all their players back from injury, get all the young kids firing. I think it must be terribly distracting to have them going to all points of the globe. In fact, if I recollect last week, Jason McCartney, did he not play for West Adelaide, or South Adelaide, I'm sorry, and he had to be introduced to the players before the game. That situation can't exist, surely. Tricky, there's a couple of points here, isn't there? One is that what about the poor Sturt reserve footballer that misses a game today, and Sturt are in a developmental mode. They need their kids playing football. So there's one kid who's missed out today for Matt Cuttle, and some people would say fair enough. But the bigger picture here is what about clubs like, say, Norwood, who have been a bit obstructive in the Crows players. Jonathan Ross and others have played on the interchange bench for the reserves. Maynard was one, and Rowe, etc. They really have had an anti-Crows sentiment about them. No, but it does away with that. I agree with Alan and myself. The Crows have got to have a reserve side, and probably next year, regardless of whether Sturt go on or don't go on, and regardless of buys, it has to happen. I think you'll find the catalyst will be next year Port Adelaide coming in, and I think the clubs in the SANFL will realise at that point that they are a feeder and a system to the AFL clubs, and once they accept that they are a feeder competition to the AFL Big League, and we're not too far away from a Super League, make known of that. That's not too far away, and Mark Naley and I have been talking about that over the last few weeks. There's going to be an 8 or 10 breakaway teams surely in the next 3 or 4 years forming a Super League. We may well be the third tier competition.
Well, we saw it last week. I mean, they were very, very competitive up to about the third quarter, but they had their chance in the first half. They should have really, had opportunity really to be at least 4 or 5, possibly 6 or 7 goals up at half time, but they just let North Melbourne in just too many times. I mean, even today, like I saw the early scores today where they had a chance, so they're 4 or 5 goals up. Then Collingwood got back into it. They just got to get sides on top of sides. When they get a 3 or 4 goal advantage, they just really have to hammer home and get. Well, Victorian sides aren't going to sit down. They just have to. When the bit of pressure starts to come back, when they start kicking a goal, they just have to work harder and harder and harder and just concentrate a bit harder as well. I mean, just going to have to push a bit harder. There's some players out there that will do the work, but only when the pressure's really on them. I mean, when the pressure's not on them, that's when they should be working as hard as they possibly can. Well, they're sitting second on the premiership table. They could possibly go top again after today's result, but I mean, they are a better side than what they were this time last year.
I think you'll find that there was just a bit of a letdown. They've been pretty good. Remember that they're coming off a side that was 11th last year and really did struggle mentally away. They've been with North Melbourne. They're a bit of a hoodoo side for the Crows, and I think they'll be a better side away this year. I think they've changed some of their travel arrangements. They've also changed the hotel that they stay at. Little things. They've got to change things if what they were doing wasn't working. I actually support Robert Shaw in that he's changed a lot of the Crows' travel arrangements. I think you'll see a better Crows side this year on the road. No, one of the things I think they've done this year is they've beefed up a little bit physically. Robert Shaw tried to get them to play a hit and bang game last year, which they weren't physically equipped for. I think they are this year, and I think with guys like Costa, Liptak's come on, I think the avenues are better. Bickley's back fit. McGuinness is not fully fit, but he's giving them better value than he did last year in, what did he play, 11 games. So I think you'll find they are much better around the midfield, and they're much more versatile than they ever were in the last 3 or 4 years. See, not on. I agree in that sentiment. I think if the Crows pick their side on Tuesday night, those who aren't required, perhaps in a final squad of 25, leave 17 guys to go back to their clubs and train on a Wednesday and a Thursday night. I think it's a much better situation. They've got to pick the side on Tuesday night. Most league clubs do these days, by the way, Stephen, so it shouldn't be an issue if that's the way it's going to be.
So we're back in the middle, around about the 6-minute mark of this first quarter. The Eagles really have punished South in this opening 6 or 7 minutes. We see Polkenhall give it over 9. It's a chance here. Badams ducks his head, gets underneath the arm, gives it to Quinn. Quinn puts the ball forward. Looking out there for power. Just can't quite get it far enough because as we see the scoreline now, it's the Eagles 7 goals, 8-50. They're leading South 5 goals, 8-38. They really have come out hard, haven't they, David, in this last 6 or 7 minutes?
The Eagles have kicked 3 goals too. while South haven't scored. But remember, the Eagles have the breeze, so South did pretty well. Saunders gets the handball long. Simpson just threw it away. The umpire said he was infringed as Dillon gathers it in, kicks it off to Neiman, who kicked one of the Eagles' revival goals. A long kick towards full forward. Biglands is out. The big guy's got it. Well, he looks all right, doesn't he? A big grasshopper.
Well, you see that from the time the ball left the boot. Biglands had that yard-and-a-half break on Stokel. A lovely mark under a fair bit of pressure. But now whether it...
Now, since we've just joined the commentary, we think he kicked one earlier in this third quarter. He certainly got one in the second, and that's a pretty good kick. So we'll check that up for him and come back, but he's either got his third or his second, but either way, he's performing pretty well for a rookie.
A real good effort there. As you see the ball delivered beautifully, put out in front of him. Took it lovely. He goes back and kicks another important goal, and that's his third. Just had to confirm that it is his third goal in the second this quarter. He has had a good start in league football.
So South Adelaide, after leading by 8 points at half-time, now trail by 18 points. They're 3 goals down. What a turnaround in this football match. Umpire Abbott puts the ball to ground. Heath comes into the ruck, wins that one. Neiman was winning clearly in the first half, so a change needed to be made there. This is McClure coming up with the ball. Difficult to pick him up.
Looks like McClure, wasn't it? McClure and Quinn.
And look at the congestion around that ball. This is like schoolboy football. You just wonder whether this is an instruction by both coaches to get in around the fall of the ball and bottle it up. Adams works hard. Gave away a free kick, however. It's a push in the back, said the umpire. And coming up with it is Dillon. So Dillon, who's just been inconspicuous off a half-back flank today, really hasn't had a great deal to do, and just suspect that maybe playing against his old team doesn't sit too well with him. Neiman, beautiful mark. What great courage running back into the pack. The most difficult thing to do.
That for a big fella like that, just he knew the players are coming at him. You see the ball pushed forward by Tottenham. Stokel tries to bring the ball to ground. What will he do here? Just push it over the line. Will they get there? Who's kicked it? Is it a goal or a point? What is it? The umpire indicates it has been touched over the line. Colville goes in and remonstrates, saying the Eagle player did get his boot to the ball.
Adrian Forster there was not having any, but he was right on the
best
line.
Position.
He was.
He made a decision. We see Stokel.
I think you'll find that the South Adelaide player was the one who kicked it full, and I reckon Colville got a boot to the ball, but after it had been across the line, and Adrian Forster was not going to be intimidated. This is Polkinghorne, a high ball to centre half forward, dropping back underneath it to Johnston, to ricocheting off Osborne. Oh, that's a coat hanger, free kick, no doubt about that one.
Got his neck pulled off, didn't he? It was a good pick up by Osborne. The ball could have bounced anyway, but he got there as quickly as possible. Taking this to be Ugrinic. Push the ball forward. Was he found here? Filippo?
His cousin, by the way. Bit of family blood there.
I believe you. The ball's put forward. Wiedemann takes it. Looks like there's been a move from Wiedemann. He played on the ball the first half. Looking forward is Brigland again. A lovely lead. And a lovely kick by Wiedemann.
Looks pretty good, this Rhett Biglands. And the Eagles need an upcoming forward because Taylor is out injured. Maybe a couple of weeks away yet, but more importantly, Taylor's over 30, and this kid's 18. So as one's nearing the end of his career, one's starting his. And Rhett Biglands, who's kicked 2 goals this term, goes for his third this quarter. The umpire leans back on it, has a good look at it, indicates it's a point. So he's kicked 3 goals, 1, and one of the elite players who's kicked a goal with his first 3 kicks in league football.
South set up there, forward structure. Mello, look at that, how easy is that? The players, Draper, have been under a bit of pressure by Neiman. Still gets his kick away. I think to land in the safe hands of Andrew Rogers. He's had a good game today, Rogers. Been fairly solid back there. He gives it across to Tottenham. Tottenham goes down the line, looking for Scotty Morford. Just can't quite get there.
The Eagles have got Stephen Hall at fullback, picking up Tim Deacon.
There's been a couple of changes here. Mills is running with Pays. He's come on with the ball to be rucked. See Mills, the player we talked about, pushes it up forward. South ain't got the numbers. Big thump back. Pays Centres the ball. Pesh that was. Centres the ball, brings it forward. Colville's around there. Merton's around there. Wiedemann's around there. Polkenhorn's there. Phillippo just plucks his end, plucks the ball out. Plenty of players. Wiedemann, good hands by the Eagles. Gives it to Colville. Turns it around the corner. Kicks the ball straight. It's a goal. Fantastic goal by Cobbett. How about that for under pressure? The Eagles boys just kept control of it. They kicked their 9th goal.
And he gets his second this term, Colville, who was surprisingly quiet in the first half. And we saw him a couple of weeks ago against the Glenelg side, and he was terrific. Picked up plenty of possessions and ran hard at the ball. Today he's just struggled a bit, but it seems to me that going back as a ruck rover, he's just enjoying that freedom. So Wiedemann goes to a half-forward flank. Colville ruck roving, they're changing off a flank.
Back in the middle of the game, the Eagles 9-10, 64, south of 5-8, 38. The Eagles really are kicking away. The ball's bounced. Neiman really has had a good quarter so far. Gets it down. Harris. Wiedemann's in there. Puts his body over. Phillippo again just puts his hands and plucks the ball out, kicks the ball forward. Going for, oh, no. Over the back.
Free kick.
Lucky enough to get a free kick.
There's been a change. Steckle's gone to a forward pocket.
Powell's
and Powell's gone to full back to pick up Bigland. So Ken Sheldon very quick to make sure that Biglands doesn't become a big factor in this match, because really the Eagles have got away. There's another free kick.
How's the umpire call that one? I mean, both players holding each other. Osman threw his arms in the air. And lucky enough, he gets away with a free kick. He comes right across. I think he was looking for Harris out here. He hasn't quite made the distance. Young Ryan. Another little redhead, fiery little redhead, gets in there. Badams is there. That's Pesh. Neiman puts the ball down to the ground, making it pretty hard for Pays to pick it up. Pays this time gets it across to Phillippo. Phillippo goes back. This is Pesh again. Got plenty of time to set it up. Puts the ball high into the forward line. He's got the big fella at the back. He couldn't quite take it. Morpher in the front of the pack. Just pissed the ball forward. And another goal of the Eagles.
And the second to Scotty Morfitt. And one of the benefits of having a big guy like Rhett Biglands, who just crashes at the ball, is if he doesn't take it, he seems to bring the ball forward. And Morfitt was wise enough to realise he'd need to be at the front of the pack. He just took it straight off hands. Didn't worry about trying to kick it over the pack or do anything clever with it. Just grabbed it along the ground. And that's the benefit of a guy like Scott Morfitt. When you've got a big fellow like Rhett Biglands flying at the ball, he's just there all the time and he reads the ball so beautifully.
South have got a reply.
6-goal quarter for the Eagles.
The Eagles 10-10, 70. They really are kicking away from South. They're only 5 goals, 8-38. They've got to add to their score. Heath in ruck. Big fella Neiman. Ball's brought to the ground. Colville, that's the move that brought him into the middle. They're roving young Colville now.
No, I think they're roving him. I think Pesh is roving. Or was Pesh ruck roving,
Colville,
perhaps?
Well, yeah, who knows these days. They both
play the same type of game.
Play the same type of game. They're both former rovers. Plenty of players, as you called before, around the pack. Heath, what will he do with it? No, he doesn't. Neiman gets his hand to it. Pays, uses his pace, uses his strength to break the pack. Puts it forward. Ziller in front. Just led Merton. And then now that match up there, Merton, he's 6 foot. Not terribly quick. What's happened behind play here? He gets another free kick. What's happened to Badams? I think he tried to take him. Umpire may have called play on. You see Ziller's got the ball. Ziller, lovely lead.
Push in the back.
Yeah, but still a lovely lead. Had that yard break, just enough. Harris couldn't quite go with him.
Been a pretty good battle today, Brenton Harris and Sam Phillippo. Neither player have had a significant influence on the game.
Well,
but
Phillippo, he's had his chances. I mean, he's had 4 or 5 shots at goal. He's had 4. He's only kicked 1 goal, 3 as I see. I mean, he's had his chance to kick 4 goals. They haven't been that hard of shots. As he goes back here, he should kick this one. Has he? Umpire comes back. I think he's only a point. The crowd behind the goals showing no emotion.
You take my point, don't you, about Sam Phillippo on a set shot. He's terrific when he's on the run or in traffic.
The goal he scored was around his body on his left leg.
They'll need to work on that
the centre
for sure. Draper from full back. A long ball to Ryan. Spent quite a bit of time on the interchange bench. Last year's best and fairest in the reserves. Short ball, Phil Saunders. Now this guy's made an impact too. He's shown himself to be something of a player. And he's...
Oh, you can see this going to happen.
Short one. Powell now. They've made another move. So Draper's gone back to full back on Biglands. And Powell's gone in a forward roll. Stacks on the mill there. Colville holds the ball in the area.
South haven't got enough players working. Simple as that. I mean, they're just relying on Darryl Heath to get his hand on the ball in the middle, Osmond to clear it. I mean, just blokes like Whitman, Knight, as you can see standing around the ball there, Mellor. I mean, really their engine room. Mark Ryan, just not doing enough, just not covering enough ground, not doing enough work. See the ball cleared again by the Eagles side. Hayes inside. And to see the Eagles with the runners, Colville pushing himself. Has he broken clear? No, he has. An umpire will have to call holding the ball, and he does.
It's the rule. It's the new rule. He had time to get rid of it, didn't dispose of it, and when the tackle was laid on him, that's holding the ball.
They've got to move it quickly. You see Mills looks towards the centre, finds Knight. Got to do something with it this time. They've got to score. Oh, terrible handball over the top. This is going to be called holding the ball. They've had their chances also. McIntyre back to Knight. Knight hasn't got a left leg. You're right. You called it earlier. It's been caught a couple of times today. Is that Mills? I think he might have had his head taken off there.
The head.
Oh, that Ryan. They've both got red hair.
It's Ryan.
He's holding his ears. He gets a helping hand. The big fella in Stokel.
So at the bounce, Bailey will do the ruck work for the Eagles. Tries to take it out, does so successfully. Forced onto the right boot, but as he did so, he was out of play. And he's been a terrific recruit this year to the Eagles, Big Doug Bailey. He's added them some real vigour. And this breeze, Mark, we're suspecting is turning around from the end that the Eagles are kicking at to the end that South are kicking to. So the Eagles might have had the use of the breeze in the early part of this third term and come home with it in the final quarter. So luck might favour them as Roger handballs back to Colville, finding plenty of the ball in this third term. A long ball through the outer wing. Underneath it, Filippo couldn't get to the contest. He was pushed out, but Page toe pokes it. He's done that successfully a couple of times today. Makes a bit of ground, toe pokes it even further forward. Now over the top of it, Zilla needs support, gets it in turn from Morford on the left boot, lines him up from 20, and he's put it through for a point. Good build up to the Eagles. They worked it out pretty well.
I mean, Zilla just clean hands. I'm a great believer. Just don't let one mistake become two or three. And just then you just saw possibly Page, shouldn't have gone for that second socket. But Zilla just picked it up beautifully. One grab and gave it across. See Draper brings the ball back in. I mean, he's a lovely kick out to the Eagles player. Really no advantage for his own teammates. Ugrinic back onto his right leg. Looks like a big fella, but no, Draper's back. They're under plenty of pressure. The umpire would have to call the free. Will he pay the advantage now? Yes, he does. Knight turns, straightens up. Back onto his right leg again. Wasn't a terribly great kick, but Stokel manages to keep control of the footy. Over to Heath. How quick is Heath? He gets quick hands across again. Mello, under extreme pressure, gives it across to Saunders. Will he give it back? He will. Mello runs onto the straight and come inside. Nobody back in the goal square. As we can see, it just goes across the face of goal. And more Mello kicks. Mello kicks his first point and his first score for the day.
Well, it's South Adelaide's first score this quarter, by the way, so you can lament Ken Sheldon. They've led by a point at quarter time, 8 points at half time, and they now trail by 33 points. We've played 20 and a half minutes into the third term, and they call this the premiership quarter.
Stephen Hall had possession then. Deacon did the right thing, grabbed him, pulled him off it. Lucky to get that free kick. See a strong spoil by Heath.
Well, there's been a few changes run. Draper back to full pack. McIntyre's now gone to a forward pocket. He started at centre half forward. Adelaide, it would appear, has gone to centre half forward, and Heath is in the ruck. This is Knight. Let's see what sort of left boot he's got. He needs to use it this time. Well, struggles, doesn't he? Dillon opened it up beautifully, got away the kick, drives it forward. Morford can run onto it. It needs to sit for him. He just bounced into the unprotected goal, and Morford will go in and kick his third and his second this quarter. The Eagles are on fire. They lead by 39 points, and South Adelaide, who were in control before half-time, have somehow stopped.
Marty Dillon, that was your goal. Just backed himself, crashed through.
Excuse me, Mark, the Dennis Knight left boot.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, had the chance there over to Battens, but Marty Dillon had one thing in mind, which was to break through, keep control of the footy, put it over the top, and Morford. I mean, that was just an easy goal. I'm sure Ken Sheldon wouldn't be a happy man at the moment.
Well, I'm sure he'll have a look at Dennis Knight's left leg, because sides will exploit that weakness and they'll force him to go left. But Morford was just quite terrific. Backed himself in, great courage. And it was Knight's direct opponent who kicked the goal. Thanks, Mark. 11-12, the Eagles. South Adelaide 5 goals, 9. and surprisingly the Eagles have now doubled South Adelaide's score, and it's all happened in one quarter of football. Colville from the ruck contest, a high ball to half forward, Zilla in front of Merton. Merton from behind destroyed it. Harris overran it. Now Zilla's good enough to recover, feeds it out to McClure, who couldn't get through traffic. Totham upends Badhams, and look at the contest that's going on. Suddenly South Adelaide realise they need to fight a bit harder for the ball.
Well, the Eagles have picked up their work rate. They are really punishing the South Adelaide side at the moment. They are working, they are running. Colville's got into the game. He's been put on the ball and really has made a big difference. We've got Polkinghorn sharing, or really shadowing Wiedemann at the moment. We've got Mills on as it pays. Not pays on Pesh.
Well, Pesh has just come off. I suspect they're resting him.
That. Yep.
And Benny Higgins has come on for the Eagles.
Osborne looks wide. He's got a runner in power. Will it make the distance it has? He takes it safely on his chest. Got Badhams running past him on the outside. Comes towards the centre, which is direct football. Looks for McIntyre. Couldn't quite hold front position. The big fella in Bailey. Stokell comes in, grabs the ball out of the air, puts the ball forward. Only finds a safe hand of Adam Pearce. Pearce goes across. Got plenty of runners out here. Pays. Got a paddock and a half, maybe 2 or 3. Only takes one bounce. Gets the ball moving quickly. Looking for Filippo. He's coming to the game this quarter. Ball comes through. Zilla puts a tackle on Knight. Merton's in there, back to Knight. Knight, once again we find him turning back on his right leg. Big Heath, Whitman, who we haven't cited this quarter, it's about his first possession. Oh, and he wrecks that one as well. Really not the Whitman we saw a couple of years ago when he won the club's best and fairest. Really a struggling for form this season. Badham sockens the ball forward. Young Ryan, quick legs, bends down, picks the ball up beautifully, puts the ball forward to McIntyre. What will he do? He's got Saunders, he's got Deacon, he's got Merton. Looks for Saunders, takes a lovely mark right at the centre half forward.
McIntyre, you just marvel, don't you? Just has that ability that a top-class player has got, and must frustrate Ken Sheldon that he's so often injured.
Yeah, he's had his fair share. He's had hamstrings, he's had driving muscles, he's had his knee go a couple of times on him.
He's quite terrific, isn't he, when he's fit and firing? This fellow does not too bad either.
Saunders puts it across. I mean, South needed the goal. He kicks it out on the full. That wind really picked it up and took it across. But, so we've seen a couple of times today, players just really ain't concentrating on their kicking for goal. You see it there, just lays back on it. Really letting the ball do the work. It's just not enough. Rogers goes short. Finds Hamish Simpson. He's covered a fair bit of ground, been forward, been back today. Goes right across the face of goal, finds Dillon. Clean play, gives it back over the top to Adam Pearce. Now they've got a chance here to set something up. Pearce got a runner inside him with Greenwich running alongside him, plenty of talk. This time he uses him, give it back. He does, keeps running, take another bounce if he wants to. No, he doesn't. Pearce looks for the lead forward. Got the big fella on Brigland, just uses his bulk, his weight. Rogers is in there. So is Knight. Knight punches the ball over the line.
Good desperation by Dennis Knight just to force that ball across the line. Great work on the outer side though.
They had the runners.
Yep, Pearce and Ugrinic sorted it out amongst themselves, and Bigland's almost took a big mark. Wiedemann bustles, forces the ball in, and a bounce. Benny Higgins was the other side of that pack. Now Neiman, who's rucked beautifully today for the Eagles, opposed to Heath. Wins that one down, thumps it forward. Powell crashes through, got through Colville too easily as it turned out. The Powell kick is a long, low affair, looking for Steckel, missed the target. Now Ryan handballs it out, stolen away by Totham. Around the corner he goes. Oh, good vision. It ends up for Wiedemann. Zilla is there in support, but across the line goes the ball. We've played just on 26 minutes of the third term, and the Eagles have kicked 7 goals, 6 this term.
Now, I'll pose this question to you.
Well,
a player like John Polkinghorn, who's been minding Wayne Wiedemann since about the 5-minute mark of that second quarter. I mean, why would you take a player with Polkinghorn's ability? He's the best in fairness from last year. He really is maybe not a match will it be. He does create so much for their South. He's a playmaker. He creates so much. Why would you have him just picking up a player like Wayne Wiedemann? I scratch my head. Strong work, Saunders. He's done a fair effort out to Whitman. What can you do this time with the ball? Can't waste it. Got McIntyre up forward. Big Bailey. Dillon brings the ball forward. Bailey, big and mobile. Good skills, look at that, gives it across. Ball's punched forward, Brigland's Draper Keeps a distance, goes for the spoil. Pays is in there. Who's he got running past? He had Morfitt. Morfitt was grabbed as he tried to get through. So the umpire blow the whistle and decides the ball up.
I'll just try and answer your question about Wiedemann and Polkinghorn, Mark. I suspect that Pesh and Wiedemann in the first quarter were really setting it up for the Eagles. And Ken Sheldon felt that it was worthwhile placing a trump card on Wiedemann to try and cut him out of the game, which to all intents and purposes he has done. But I take your point, he's robbed Peter to pay Paul, but when Wiedemann was so very dominant, I'm not sure that he had too many other options.
Well, there are options out there. I mean, you could use players out. I mean, it's players like Knight. I mean, Polkinghorn, as we said, he's a great playmaker. Could just set up that south forward line.
So you Ken Sheldon, you're addressing the players in a matter of seconds. We're 28 minutes into the third quarter. What do you say to your team at three-quarter time?
Well, this really is the Eagles' match-winning quarter. As we said, they've kicked a handful of goals. So you hear the siren to end this third quarter. Eagles 11 goals, 12-78. They really had a great quarter. They lead South 5-9-39.
Just repeating the details of the winning tickets from the raffles sold here at the Woodville Oval this afternoon. Firstly, the Eagles home match raffle winner is a blue ticket, Q36. The Eagles home match raffle winner, blue Q36. The South Adelaide raffle winning ticket number is 17973. Just repeating, South Adelaide raffle ticket winner, 17973. The holders of those winning tickets should contact the respective clubs during the week.
Come, mate. That's where the players go. Hey, Joe, go on, mate. Down to this gate. Come and get a drink.
Any romance?
The final quarter underway at Woodville Oval as South Adelaide kicking with the breeze in this final quarter, trail by 39 points, and we're about to witness what type of character the South Adelaide Football Club has. Neiman thumps it down to Totham. Totham, a hurried kick. It's a high ball, didn't go very far at all. Neiman sets out after it, claims the mark, and the umpire has given it to him, and possibly a 25-metre penalty. No. Umpire Justin Schmidt officiating midfield as Neiman on the grandstand wing, looks for a lead. Elects to go short. This is Ben Higgins to half forward. Sam Philippou just going half pace, kicks it off the end of his boot and out of bounds on the full. He wouldn't be pleased with that effort at all.
Harris, it's been a great battle between these two players today. Philippou and Harris been at each other. Philippou had a very good third quarter. McIntyre, strong mark in the middle there in front of Bailey. McIntyre chips the ball forward. Ryan, the face of the pack. Page gets quick hands. Not quite to his own player. McKnight's in there. Ugrinic sockers the ball forward. Big Bailey kicks it forward. Who's he found here now? It's the big fella, Neiman. He puts the ball out. Here we go, Brett Biglands. He has had a great day. Kick three.
Not a bad kick by Neiman though, was it? That ball didn't go 2 metres off the ground. Into the breeze. 6'4" Neiman. What's that? 194 centimetres. And a kick like that.
Biglands going for his fourth. Lays back on it. Look at this lovely kick. Beautiful. The camera's right behind it. We see it go through, split the centre. It's fourth goal to Brett Biglands. And a great debut game.
Well, Andrew Taylor sitting in the grandstand would have mixed emotion about this. He'd be pleased as punch that the Eagles are playing such a fine brand of football. But Rhett Biglands, who is debuting today, playing in Taylor's position at full forward, has kicked 4 goals, 1. He's been very accurate. He's led very, very quickly. He's marked strongly. And he's a tall. Somebody has to pick him up.
The Eagles 12-12, 84, extend their lead to Souths. 5 goals, 9, 39. They kicked those 2 points in that third quarter. It wasn't a good quarter. Heath shows a bit of steel, gets in there, knocks the ball forward and folds it up. Battams gives quick hands to Whitman. Whitman turns around, looks towards the centre, kicks the ball out. Hadn't found any. Ryan's in there. So all you do is pick it up and run past a couple of players and you kick it goal. Deacon, quick hands to Stokel. Stoke will love these kicks. He just turns around on his right leg. He's kicked the goal. Yes, he has. He has. It's a goal, much needed goal from South Adelaide. They kicked their 6. So good work. Whitman started it, he turned, he kicked the ball towards the centre, wasn't going to bring it back into the pocket. Some great little work, great little nuggety work by Mark Ryan. Just gives us a crossover to David Stokel, and he kicks a much needed goal.
So South Adelaide over 30 minutes of football since they've kicked their last goal. Finally get one through the agency of their great goal scorer in David Steckel, who started the day in defence. 6-9 to 12 goals 12. The Eagles in charge of this match. Can South Adelaide kick 4 or 5 more and get themselves back into a competitive position? Just on 3.5 minutes of the final term as Bailey uses his pace for the big man to kick it wide. Mello thumps it towards the line. Ugrinik gathers it in, handball's inboard. Bailey comes back in a supportive role. Gives it off to Ugrinik. A left footer, a floater, and it's out of bounds on the full. Zilla's not happy either. He claims he's marked it. But the ball went out, obviously, and then came back in on the breeze.
He's tried that a couple of times today, hasn't he, Zilla? We see Quinn, one of the most experienced players, still only 23 years old. Kicks the ball well, and as you see, the ball carried well into the South's forward lines. There's young Saunders.
One of the things about South Adelaide last year is that they didn't have people who kicked a lot of goals. You take out Danny Del Rey, who kicked 92. I don't think they had anyone who kicked more than 25 goals, did they?
See Osborne. Turns on his left leg, looking forward. Got power. Badhams. Ryan's in there. Totham got a very strong grip on it. McIntyre puts his body over the ball. Finally, the umpire decides the ball must be thrown up.
It's an area mark, isn't it? The South Adelaide need to look at their forward structure. You take out Danny Del Rey, kicked 92. I think Steckel kicked 23 last year. Nobody else kicked more than 20. And you're just not going to kick enough goals with that type of structure to win today in today's running style of football.
Yes, they're hoping this player, young Tim Deacon, would come up, replace Danny Del Rey, but so far this season really hasn't been the answer. We can see a kick off the side of the boot from Whitman, gets across to the face of goals, and then up with Osborne, who had a fantastic opening quarter, but really has been quiet since. Lots expected. He's their vice captain. He's only 21, 22 years of age. Given the responsibility of the vice captain, as you see, a short passes on. Stokel comes out, gives him a lovely lead, put out in front, and a lovely grab by David Stokel. Vice captain to captain.
Well, this is the man they need, isn't it? When they were a force in league football, Stecker was at the goal mouth. He was either at full forward or centre half forward. He was kicking a lot of goals, but in recent years, knee and back injuries particularly have hampered his fitness. But he's been a great clubman. 234 games, he's kicked 340 goals. So he's a man who does know how to kick them, and never have South Adelaide needed a more important goal than this one. And you just worry about South Adelaide, just when they need it, they're not able to finish. And you've got to say that was a critical kick missed.
It's an important one. If they're going to get back into this game, which I really don't hold much hope at this stage, they're just not working hard enough. They're working nowhere near as hard as what the Eagles are at the moment. See a lovely lead by Rogers. Gave him a great opportunity there, but great kick by Stephen Hall. Rogers on the half-back flank. Looks in short. Gives it to Hamish Simpson. Simpson's got another short player out wide. Looks like Zilla. Zilla takes the ball above his head. Pushes away from Osborne. Goes back, looks forward. Another short player. It's a quick lead on. Nigel Bowen. He's only 19, young lad. Came through. Ugrinik. Chance to set things up here. Look at this lovely kick. And this player we caught again, Brett Bricklands. He really has been impressive.
And he's a big target too.
He's quick for his size. I mean, look at him there standing alongside of Heath. He's got to be at least 6'4".
I think
maybe even taller, 6'5". And he's got a couple of big mobile players. As we see, he goes back. Shouldn't have any problems here. And he does. And he puts it through. That's his 5th. I mean, he's come on. He's only been put there. The start of the second quarter, he's kicked 5. Bruce Winter would be very happy with this young lad, and it's his, as we said before, it's his first game for the club.
Yeah, well, Bruce Winter, I think, would be very pleased with what he sees, because now he realises that when an Andrew Taylor's out of form or struggling or injured, he's got an option, and it may well be that this kid, remember that you're asking a lot of these young fellows to be consistent. He's only 18. He'll have a big week, a bad week, a big week, a bad week. But at least now there's another option, isn't there?
The Eagles extend their lead. They're now 13 goals, 12-90. They lead the Panthers 6 goals, 10-46. Ball's down is Heath. Neiman gets the touch over to Totham. Totham puts it high. Harris is underneath it. What can happen here? Harris gets bombarded from both directions. Gets back in there again. Filippo, Zilla puts the ball forward. It's been called a throw. Very quick hands. The umpire was in the best position. Mills goes wide. Whitman. Getting some easy kicks today, Whitman has. Overnight. Now he just put on his left leg. Didn't really have a good look forward. Unlucky for the Eagle, but Saunders picks it up, puts it over the top. Hits Tim Powell on the chest.
Pretty good presence of mind by Phil Saunders. Just backtracked away, gave himself enough space to bend it around the corner, and Powell, clearly the voice of experience, was calling for the ball. Demanded it virtually.
Powell lines up, goes back, he's put the ball high. The umpire goes across the face of goals, between the goals and the point post, and indicates it's only a point. Nigel Bowen, he's only 19, young lad. Came through, Ugrinic. Chance to set things up here. Look at this lovely kick. And this player we caught again, Brett Bricklands. He really has been impressive.
And he's a big target too.
He's quick for his size. I mean, look at him there standing alongside of Heath. He's got to be at least 6'4". Maybe even taller, 6'5". And he's got a couple of big mobile players. As we see, he goes back. Shouldn't have any problems here. He doesn't. He puts it through. That's his 5th. I mean, he's come on. He's only been put there. The start of the second quarter, he's kicked 5. Bruce Winter would be very happy with this young lad. And it's his, as we said before, it's his first game for the club.
Yeah, well, Bruce Winter, I think, would be very pleased with what he sees, because now he realises that when an Andrew Taylor's out of form or struggling or injured, he's got an option, and it may well be that this kid, remember that you're asking a lot of these young fellas to be consistent. He's only 18. He'll have a big week, a bad week, a big week, a bad week. But at least now there's another option, isn't there?
The Eagles extend their lead. They're now 13 goals, 12-90. They lead the Panthers 6 goals, 10-46. Ball's down is Heath. Neiman gets the touch over to Totham. Totham puts it high. Harris is underneath it. What can happen here? Harris gets bombarded from both directions. Gets back in there again. Filippo, Zilla puts the ball forward. It's been called a throw. Very quick hands. The umpire was in the best position. Mills goes wide. Whitman. Getting some easy kicks today, Whitman has. Overnight. Now he just put on his left leg. Didn't really have a good look forward. Unlucky for the Eagle, but Saunders picks it up, puts it over the top. Hits Tim Powell on the chest.
Pretty good presence of mind by Phil Saunders. Just backtracked away, gave himself enough space to bend it around the corner, and Powell, clearly the voice of experience, was calling for the ball. Demanded it virtually.
Powell lines up, goes back, he's put the ball high. The umpire goes across the face of goals, between the goals and the point post, and indicates it's only a point. They've had a couple of chances here, they've gone forward, a couple of set shots, and a couple of times there they've kicked a couple of points.
1 goal 3 to Powell as Rogers provides the space. Demands the ball and goes long. Now he's felled by Deacon as he disposed of it, pushed him in the back.
Undisciplined.
Umpire Doddridge comes in and warns him, but it's an FAD and pays. Probably one of the Eagles' best, that's for sure. Well, he's looking to take the kick, but Morfitt gathers it in. He'll take it. A long ball towards Filippo, hugging the boundary line, dives at it, misses it, and it's across the line and out of play. We've played just on 9.5 minutes of the final term. The Eagles pretty much in control here, and they lead by 43 points.
Ball's thrown in. Heath, Neiman pushes it his way. Polkinghorn really has been the minder on Wayne Wiedemann today, and he's done a good job. He really has robbed Peter to pay Paul. See the ball kicked forward by Brett Higgins. Up high, Filippo's in the best position. Gets collared. Pays, quick hands over the Pesh. Pesh should put this through. He doesn't get the ball around quickly enough. And goes through for a point.
It's Nick Pesh's first score mark for the day, and he's done.
But he's been good.
Yep,
I mean, he's
terrific.
He's responded to the Crows this week. He's been dropped back to the SANFL, but he's had a good game. Started hard, started quick, but he really has been a link man between the lines today.
Yeah, Nick Pesh probably the best 2 or 3 for the Eagles, vying with I'd suspect Pays himself. Tottenham's been prolific, and so too has Neiman.
And Zilla. Zilla's been good. I mean, they're
4 or 5 very
today.
good players, haven't they? This is Damien Mello. Spent last year and the year before with Kilburn. Before that with the Redlegs. Finds a home with the Panthers now. And Pearce, Adam Pearce, to Rogers. Kicks it wide, Ugrinic. Plenty of pace, but he hasn't really used it today. He hasn't really opened the accelerator down and tried to run off his opponents. This is Morfitt. Pace really just going out of this game now. Look at this, Rhett Biglands. He's kicked 5 goals, 1 today. And you'd suggest, even though he's hugging the boundary line, that with the straightness of his leg and the way he kicks the ball, he's a fair chance of kicking this one.
You know, I mean, it's impressed me the way he's led. I mean, he really has led like an experienced full forward. I mean, you expect the players like Tony Lockett and Jason Dunstan and Tony Modra, but this lad really has shown great composure and maturity for his age. As you can see, he kicks the ball across the face of goals and brings up his second point.
Yeah, five goals too, Mark. Well, the sting clearly gone out of this game. I think you just suspect that 11 and a half minutes into the final term, South Adelaide playing without desperation, without the sort of aggression that you'd think would be so evident as they try to claw back this lead.
They're just not working.
No.
I mean, they've had their chance. Their opposition has just shown them how to run, how to share the football, how to do that second and third effort.
Tell you the other thing that they need to look at is they're kicking out from full-back today. They've hardly hit the target from full-back all day, and it is a big area of concern. It's something they will need to address quickly.
And they're sitting up here, you can just see they're just trying to put the ball at high and expect someone like a Heath or a McIntyre to knock the ball towards their direction and then get numbers around the footy. I mean, it's been pretty easy for Bruce Winter to pick that one out. See the ball put forward, Mellor. Mello kicks it over the top. This is Big Bailey on his left leg, sucks it back in towards the centre. Harris comes out full of steam. Crash through the pack. Polkinghorn cops one high and the umpire gives him a free kick.
Can Sheldon be devastated by this loss today? He would have come here today believing that he could have won.
I mean, they've only beaten Sturt for the year. I'm taking nothing away from Sturt, but they played them at home in the opening game, and really, I mean, up to half-time, Sturt were very, very competitive. There's a problem there. Players playing without confidence. We see Battens. What can he do this time? He's got to break clear of him. What will the umpire call? He calls play on. Pays, it's good work, puts the ball forward. Gets picked up by his teammates, a pat on the head, attack on the backside, and the crowd acknowledges his performance as well.
Andrew Pays will be one of the players honoured next Saturday night at the Eagles Club in a Stairway of Champions dinner. One of only, 24 players to have been given that honour of the combined Woodville and West Torrens football clubs. This is Wiedemann, terrific in the first quarter when he just dominated. Quinn, quiet today from
very
halfback.
quiet, hasn't he?
Heath, who's been shifted from centre forward to ruck. This is Battens going forward. Ryan spent a fair bit of time on the bench today.
Got to hit your target. You just don't come around like that. Handball the game to the ground. Oh, lad, he just turned the ball over. Then he goes back in, unless he decided, well, that's it. I've got to get it back from my side. Whitman comes in, takes it. Osborne, quick hands across the Mills. This time they've got to kick a goal. Keep running, lad. Goes in, lines them up, kicks true, and hits the post. But gee, the CSI is playing without confidence. So just even shots for goal like that should have gone through the middle, under no pressure at all.
No confidence is a funny thing, isn't it? Rogers. Let's see what the Eagles do from fullback. They hold the ball until there's an option. Finally, here comes one, and they pick it out. Now, that's the difference,
One
isn't
or
it?
two they had there.
Yep, two
Could have
options.
gone either way.
Brett Higgins just made the space. Everyone ran forward, created a hole, and Higgins ran back
Look at
into
them
the
running
hole.
down the field. I mean, they're just running to support, running with numbers, running with confidence.
Now McClure through half forward. Pesh, just a little nudge on Quinn. Gathers in the loose crumb.
Too quick.
Yep, did it pretty well. Chips it up, and look who's here. Good punch away, Draper. Did well on Biglands. Now Harris, who you'd suspect in the last half, has got on top of Filippo. Loose ball, Neiman. Now McClure. Forward to Neiman. Neiman on 50, goes long towards goals. It's a penetrating kick. It's coming around, but a little too far and through for one behind. 13-15 the Eagles. 6 goals, 12 South, and Ken Sheldon tonight will go back and take stock of this side and see what he can do to turn it around.
A few players you really have to start looking at themselves. They're just not working the way they should be. This is the best level in South Australia outside of the AFL. They expect to play in the finals this year. They're going to have to do a hell of a lot more work. The balls are brought down. Colville, a bit undecided. The umpire decides to bounce it up. He's touched. You see umpire Mick Abbott indicates that.
You've got to suggest that South need to turn around. Next week they've got North Adelaide at Football Park, who have been playing a grand brand of football, in Central District at Adelaide Oval. So 2 big contests in the next couple of weeks for South Adelaide. And Ken Sheldon would have needed a win here today to give some confidence going to the North and Central encounters. And you'd suspect that confidence is going to be at an all-time low after this match.
The winning quarter was the third quarter. We've heard it be said before. The Eagles came out and decided this was it. We had to make a charge, and they did. You can see the ball kicked high again. The ball's punched on. What will Knight do? He comes around on his left leg. He decides, we've called it before. The lad has to have a look at himself. He just can't. He hasn't got a left side. And 4 or 5 times a day he's got on his left side. And really, I mean, just no penetration at all with it. You can see a 25-metre given to Ryan. Ryan decides to play on quickly. Gets the ball forward. Finds his big centre-half forward, and McIntyre misses an easy mark that he should have taken. Ball foot forward. Saunders, been pretty handy today. Hadn't been their worst player. Knight again. What can you do this time? Gives it out a bit wide. Merton. Opportunity to take a bounce. He doesn't. He punches the ball forward towards centre-half forward. Deacon in front of the pack. Didn't put his arms in the air. Tried to use his bulk and his size. Gives it back. Powell. Just back on the 45 and pops the ball up. Only go through for another point.
1 goal, 4. Neiman comes off for a well-earned rest. He's rucked all day for the Eagles and done it pretty well. Spear comes back on. And presumably you'd think that Bailey might be having a run in ruck. But no, Spear goes to pick up Heath. So the Eagles are going to go with Spear in ruck. It's an interesting one. Pays thrown away by Badams. Free kicks to the umpire. No doubt about that one. Badams just in sheer frustration. Last year's second best and fairest, Badams at South Adelaide. Hasn't had a big day today. Filippo grab, play on, said the umpire. Bailey to Tottenham is good work, and good pressure comes from Heath, and the kick is out of bounds on the full.
A lot of the South players look tired.
Look dejected, frankly.
I think more so, you're right. See Quinn giving the ball to Harris. Which way will he go? Sees Polkinghorn give him the lead. Decides not to go to him. Puts the ball right towards the middle. This time Mills gets quick handballs over to Whitman. Whitman puts it wider. Mello. Which way will the ball bounce? Decides to flick it over the top. Rogers, the experienced captain for the Eagles, puts it out wider. James McClure. Quick hands forward. Ugrinic. What can he do? Gives it across to Wiedemann. Too many times a day you've seen Wiedemann by himself. Wiedemann punches the ball forward. Colville on the end of it. Just quick hands back. It's like Pesh. Takes on Heath. Oh, no one can really get a clear chance. Ryan grabs it, puts it onto his boot, puts it forward. Who's he got down here? Phil Saunders comes out, throws the ball to the ground. Could have been pulled for holding the ball, but it's not. Osman over the top. Ooh! Great spoil by Stephen Hall.
And the Eagles' desperation.
That's some strong work, isn't it?
Oh, Tim Powell's down behind play, and he's holding his left arm. Let's hope it's not anything more serious than just a bruise. Trainer's quickly out to him. Played just on 19.5 minutes into this game, into this final term. Osborne, 13-15-93 the Eagles, 6 goals, 13-49. South Adelaide. Spear hugs the boundary line, feeds it back in ball. This is Hall. Short kick. Bailey the target, one hand to it. Filippo pirouettes out of trouble, gives it back to Wiedemann. A long left footer towards Pesh at centre half forward. Pesh will need to go hard at it. Merton did, couldn't bring it down. Colville, loose ball at centre half forward, spears it in towards Pays, heading into the forward zone. Biglands hands it back to Pays. Pays on the left boot, chips it in.
Big fella.
And it's Morford.
Yeah, the big fella. I mean, he's playing with experience. Just played the team rules, gave it off a lovely handball across to Pays, and then put the shepherd on.
Pesh coming off for a rest, and Zilla coming back on. So Eagles just resting their key players, keeping them fresh presumably for next week as they take on Norwood at Norwood in a big match for the Eagles. And Morford around the corner, bends it back on the right boot and puts it through for a goal. So great news. Morford gets his fourth. He got one in the first and two in the third and caps it off nicely with a nice goal late in the last term.
Just looking at Ken Sheldon from up here, he's got his hands on his, nearly on his knees. I mean, he just doesn't know what to do. You can only do so much as a coach. You can inspire them as much as possibly you can. You can make some moves from the grandstand, but it's really up to the players out on the field to respond, show a bit of pride in their performance.
Well, Bruce Winder would be pretty satisfied with this. They've almost kicked 100 points. Just on 21 minutes into the final term. Heath, a high one over the top, gets it down. Tottenham tries to kick it back from where it came. Mello crashes through, handballs off to Osborne. Is good play. Outside 50, needs to go long. The penetration, the kick just wasn't there. And
stabbed at it, didn't he? He didn't really kick through the ball. Had a chance to go right through with it and kick the goal, but he just decided, I don't know what he was trying to do, whether he was trying to find Stokel or McIntyre up forward, but just stabbed at it.
It's out of bounds on the full. I think that's just a training drill. You just get used to kicking short at training, and then when you get into a match, you're still in those sorts of habits. And I think that is one of the things about South Adelaide. They haven't played on from defence. They haven't created space in their forward line, and they've kicked at times very short.
2 or 3 minutes into the time-on period, really the game is lost. All they can do now, we see Whitman runs through the wing, brings the ball back into the centre. Good work by McIntyre. Saunders ducks and weaves and dodges, kicks the ball over the top. Has he kicked the goal? I think he has. He has put through. That's his second for the day. He hasn't been South's worst player. He's given them something up there today.
Now the point was illustrated, wasn't it, when Whitman got the ball on the outer wing, and even though he had a hurried kick, he bombed it in long. It allowed the South Adelaide forwards to be one-on-one. It was brought to ground, but where they just play around with it and fiddle around with it and bring it in short, it gives their forwards no opportunity. The long ball opened up the space and Merton ran into it and kicked truly for his second. Saunders, I'm sorry.
Hasn't got the pace, as we can see. The Eagles, 14 goals, 15, 99. Lead South, 7-13, 55. Another ball up. Plays in loose. Deacon comes in. High with the elbow. What will happen here? I mean, he's caught on the face, but the player's got up and just ran off. It's James McClure. Will he come back and get it? What's going on here? Whose free kick is it? I don't know, the umpire's just letting the ball play. What's he doing now? He's blowing his whistle. He's giving it, what's he giving it now? 50 metres, 25?
50-metre penalty.
50-metre penalty now. What's this for?
Well, I would suggest there was a little bit of verbal between the player and the umpire.
No.
You don't think so?
John Polkenhorn's not that type of player.
No, it was Tim Deacon.
It was a Deacon, was it?
You'd suspect. And now the Weed wants to have a go at him too.
A couple of mean customers. Look at him. One's with a shaven head and one's got hair halfway down his back. This is Tottenham. Just inside 50 he'll kick from. No, it's not Tottenham. It was Stephen Hall. Very similar type of player.
Well, the sting right out of this game. 14-16. The Eagles, there's Deacon. And that is a fearsome matchup. Wiedemann and Deacon. Polkinghorn. Starting to find a little of the ball. A longer kick, still perhaps a bit short. That kick's only travelled 40 metres with this breeze. Mills over the top of it, keeps it in play. Handball's back inboard, opens it up for Polkinghorn. Now he's starting to play like a ruck rover as he blasted forward, but really is a problem the way they deliver the ball and kick it to Steckel. Osborne short, Powell. Now Powell's 60 out, bends it around the corner. Steckel's running onto it. He just needs to gather it in, settle, steady, and kick a goal, and that's exactly what he's done. Too little too late, one would presume, but well-structured goal that one as they moved the ball in quickly. And Steckel gets his second for the term.
They had 4 goals, 6 up to half-time. They've only added another 4 goals. It just really hasn't been enough work by any of those players. We see Stokel there. He had the time, bit of experience there, didn't waste the opportunity to kick a goal, and he went through and kicked it truly. Can't be long left in this quarter.
39 points the margin. The Eagles have hit the 100-point barrier. South just scraped to 60 to 61. 8-13-61 plays 14-16, 100. Dead heat. Perhaps Heath won that one. Falls down. Going through was Higgins. The umpire's picked out a free kick.
Gee, that's a bit hard on the player. He's tackled from behind, both arms pinned. Just try to keep the ball moving. Didn't have an opportunity to get rid of it.
Yeah, Saunders. Merton. That's a longer ball. That's a better kick into their forward zone. Oh, Spear committed himself beautifully. That was great courage. Simpson out to Zilla, short. Oh, the target was Tottenham, or was it Bailey? Either way, the kick was a poor one. Now they're going even shorter, so the Eagles have caught South Adelaide's disease. Pearce, that's a lovely pass to Pays. They're playing possession football, the Eagles. I think that's the difference. When the Eagles go short, they hit the target. And South Adelaide have missed theirs. Pays, a long ball. Filippo, front position. Just applies a Shepherd. Allows McClure a bit of space. Zilla, a long ball. Colville, front position. Merton from behind, spoils. Colville recovers. Taken to ground by Whitman. Tottenham got the ball from Higgins. Wider still, Colville. This is Browning. Handball's a long one now. That was just a nothing ball. He just had no idea where that was going. Handballed in hope, and fortunately for the Eagles, Grinick was able to hold it in the area and force a bounce. Oh, no, it's a free kick. Well,
goes across.
Dived on the ball, holding the ball.
Badhams down the line, finds his vice captain Andrew Osborne. He's had injuries over the year. It's good to see him back on the track and playing good football. Had a reasonable first half. Heath, they're going back into the middle now. Power, where's he going? I don't think he's got any support. Nobody around him wants to help him. Comes back, finds Saunders. Saunders will take off. He got a chance to get a goal here, young lad. Goes the goal, stabs at it. Great put through by Adam Pearce. He knew he had to put his arm up and stop it from going through, and he did that. Anna
Pearce has been pretty special in the back pocket today for the Eagles too. A fine job.
Oh, Eagles have got 4 or 5 players there they can choose from. Look at this. Look on the screen. You can see 3 players here alone. Not to mention the others. Little chip forward. Badhams cuts across. Takes it away. Now, who's he aiming for here? The smallest player on the field, and Mark Ryan. You see young Pearce over the top and takes a sensational grab.
I like this young kid. And a 50-metre penalty.
Bit of frustration by the South players. They realised at the half-time they were leading. They had a chance to go on with it, but they just haven't.
28 minutes played, final term. Tottenham goes to half forward, and it's Wiedemann and Balkenhorn. So we thought Deacon might have been on Wiedemann for a while, but I think that was just temporarily. The Weed needs support. Gee, had a long time to dispose of that ball. Zilla to Tottenham. Tottenham claimed holding the ball, no doubt about that one. Gang tackle by South Adelaide. Heath, the main instigator, wins the free.
Another one, here we go. What's this for? So we're short of 25 metres or 50-metre penalties today. Make up for it in the last quarter. We've got Heath. Umpire blows it. Heath puts the ball forward, puts it out in front of Stokely, and he takes it easily on his mark. He's got that yard break. That's all he needed. He's already kicked 2. Going for his 3rd. Leans back on it, kicks it lovely and true. Look at that. Through for his 3rd goal. The South have come home, maybe a little bit too late, but at least they've come and kicked a couple of goals.
David Stickle has 3 this term. 2 to Phil Saunders and singles to Deacon, McIntyre, Powell and Mills. So not much joy on the scoreboard for South Adelaide. And they really do need just some more options to kick bigger scores.
The Eagles 14 goals, 16, exactly 100 points. They lead South on 9 goals, 14, 68. Ball's high. Whitman at the back. Puts the ball forward. There's Deacon. What can you do this time? It's on his left leg. Looks for Ryan. Lovely place kick, Ryan.
So that's it. Siren sounded. The Eagles have won out victors over South Adelaide by 32 points. The Eagles next week will take on Norwood at Norwood, while South will need to recover to take on North Adelaide at Football Park. Repeating the final margin here at Woodville Oval, the Eagles home by 32 points.